forget to do that, like I have recently done in the past. For anyone that may need the cheat sheet rules, I'll put those in the chat. For those actually work. No, that's not right. Hold on. I should go ahead and download put the actual file, because that came up as mumbo jumbo. Our codes will delete that. But yeah. Wow. To break the ice, how's who's lost their life or getting their hours sucked away by Baldur's Gate 3? Anybody?
Oh, me for sure.
I haven't actually played that much yet,
Okay.
but I did start the other day.
Yeah. Have you heard of it,
Scared
Deborah?
you're not getting it.
So it's basically D&D 5th edition, but as a video game, and it's been doing really well. And people
Just
keep raving
hornier,
about it.
much hornier. Like, I know people say D&D is a horny game. It's not. Baldur's Gate took.
D&D's a horny game when you have a bard for some reason, and even the recent bards I've played have not played their bards recently horny. So haven't had a horny.
Which is
bard
wild, because if I have high charisma, I'm the horniest character ever. Because I'm gonna get what I need one way or another.
I never
We're gonna figure
understand
this
it,
out.
because here's the thing: what you're asking to do is essentially have awkward conversations with your dungeon master, which is
Yeah.
just really strange.
I'm
Or
gonna
another
awkward
player.
you. I'm gonna awkward you until you give me what you want, what I want. That's how this works.
I hear you. Because
Either
I have
stab
flirted
me-
with Eddie like in 4 different games based on charisma saves. Like, what are we doing here?
It makes it so much easier when you're online. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, online, especially in a recorded game, I look dead into the camera to look in the camera's eyes. Means I don't gotta see you anymore.
Right.
But in person, that gets a little awkward. I do my best not to flirt with you in person.
I can handle it. I've got experience in it, so it's, I'll make it happen. But,
Hey, don't give them the wrong idea. You don't have experience flirting with me in person.
No, I don't. Not with you. I don't.
Keep that with Eddie. I don't know if any of us have not flirted with Eddie at some point.
Yeah.
I think everybody flirts with Eddie, at
Eddie
some point.
has done. Eddie is infamous. At this point. Where is my?
Let's see.
It's just bad.
I guess.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
So I guess we have the 3 basic groups. So I guess I'll take a priest.
Oh, you know what I need to do? I forgot.
Old school, you're supposed to have a rogue, a priest, a wizard, and a warrior. Annika's a warrior. Got that ranger in there. Yeah, buddy. We gonna make Orion a wizard. Ish. A mage. Call it whatever word you want to call it, Orion. If you want to keep calling it a mystic, call it that. We'll take it.
Mage is fine. Yeah.
Mage works. And then we got our big old thief. Just take expertise in intimidation. You ain't see me, homie. Close your eyes.
Yeah, I'm not going for the sneaky thief. I'm going for the intimidate him, bash him thief.
Your lockpick is just a hammer.
I don't know why. One thing I hate in this rule book is the page on experience. Talks about experience points and then goes to see how to use it. Go to chapter 6 and doesn't tell you where in chapter 6 it is. So
Just read chapter 6, Malcolm. Gosh.
yeah, bro. I'm not... So this is
It's
chapter.
the entirety of chapter 6, huh?
Like, come on, man.
Are you looking for the questions? What are you looking
Looking
for?
for the questions. Yeah, because I can never remember.
Are they not on the cheat sheet?
Maybe they are. Are they?
No, you'd think they would put them on the cheat sheet. That's a good information. Tails. Oh, this is things though. Things from the
Yeah,
Flood
this is
rulebook.
things, but I can't find a cheat sheet for things, but it's essentially the same. The only thing that's different the only rule that's different in Things from the Flood is the scars. It's literally the only rule that's different. Unless you can, I don't think there's anything else that's different.
So the questions are the same for experience.
The questions are I think the questions might be different, but essentially
Okay.
it's still only 5 questions. Where are the questions?
Yeah, I don't know where my Things from the Flood rulebook is right now.
Questions. So I thought I was ready. It's not very well. If someone finds it before me, I'll give you an experience point.
Oh, don't summarize the experience of playing Things from the Flood, you stupid Google.
I think it's page 65.
Like getting better or something? Is it like
Here you go.
65? It's got to be somewhere in that area. So.
Yeah, I would have searched it for you, but I just can't find my rulebook right now.
Mind effects. Extended trauma. Helping with the kids.
So, do you want the questions, Malcolm?
Yeah, did you find them? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
It's
then I
page
want-
97.
Okay. So
Did you participate in the session? Each team present always gets 1 XP. Did your problem or relationships get you in trouble? Were you
said
broken
97?
Yeah.
Oh,
Here,
my-
I'll just post them. I'm just gonna post them in the chat.
My dumb ass was. I have both books out. I've been flipping through Tales.
Yep, I was doing the
That's not gonna
same
get
thing,
you where
bro.
you need to go.
I was flipping through Tales the entire time, so I was like, man, no wonder I couldn't find it.
I couldn't find my PDF for Things from the Flood rulebook when it's literally called Things from the Flood RPG rulebook.
Oh, and I've lost my camera now.
I was looking for the acronym, like because I usually name it with the acronym.
Yeah, like
and I was
where
like,
is this?
I was like, why would I write out all these words? Where?
Thanks.
No, it's in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Deborah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, if you can answer any of those questions, go ahead and mark yourself a point. If you have 5, at least 5, based on even ones you have from previous games, then you can go ahead and advance one of your skills by 1 point. Even if you weren't here, because I know life happens, and so I don't ever want to penalize anyone for not playing. So I'll always still give you at least 1 point. So take an extra point for everyone here at the game today, at least for today.
I'll say technically we can all answer the questions, Malcolm. It's just can you answer them with a yes?
Does it look like anyone would actually level up this game, or no?
I had a
Maybe Deborah.
couple from last game still, so,
then
I will
you
get 1 point of something.
get 1
Is it
point.
1 skill level?
Yeah, so every 5 points gets you 1 skill point,
Yeah.
like to level up. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I think I have enough from before
Yeah. So you.
to level up.
Yeah, I think the max on that is 5.
Yeah, 5 in any 1 skill.
Okay. As you all do that, I'll start giving us a little bit of a recap of where we were at. We picked up our last game where the last game that Jason and Nathan played together was the one where I think you guys were in that weird video game world, right? Everything was super bizarre and strange. And then we ended the first time we've ever ended a Tales game like on a weird cliffhanger where it was like they woke up and they had like essentially were still in the guy's house, Brian, that they had like gone over to his mom's, like where she has like the construction site. They had like never left. They were just kind of like all kind of jacked into the system, hypnotized by the system, by the Machine God 3 video game. So they woke up, and so we advanced the story 6 weeks later. So nothing really ever came of that, other than they, in this weird way, in that experience, they beat the Machine God, right? Like they stopped it from whatever it was trying to do. And so 6 weeks later, from that incident, we find out that what's happened in that time is Carlos, who's not here today, Renee's character, and Clara, Deborah's character's mother, has been basically the mom and dad are now with each other. They're both widows who are now dating each other, and that's made it really awkward with the group. So both her and Jose are not happy. Jose Castro. I don't always call him Carlos. Jose and her are not feeling it, not happy about it, right? So we were kind of starting off with some of that was going on, and then we started the game with them going on a little business vacation for the weekend. They had recently been invited to the Sunshine Farms. The Sunshine Farm, if you're looking on the Boulder map, is on Boulder, little Big Boulder Island, so not too far away. And Clara had noticed that they told them that they got the invite from Judith Sunshine. So Judith Sunshine turned out to be this kind of tech mogul who has bought several of the farms on northern Big Boulder Island. She's kind of demolished them and built these enormous greenhouses instead that use artificial sunlight, with floating orbs to create cotton, corn, and these exotic fruits. But for some reason, she's inviting Jose's father. She's inviting Jose's father, who worked for, he worked at the Loop, and inviting Clara's mother, Melissa, because Jose's father is Juan Pablo, Melissa is Clara's mother, who also was married to their father, who died, but who also was in like really high-end tech, like next level Android tech, stuff like that. I mean, and I think everyone does Orion and Annika know the secret of Garth? Have they been brought in? Did we ever share that?
Not sure which one you mean.
Well, he's missing an arm.
Yes.
They know that.
They know that he's a robot.
I think we do know.
Yeah, I think they were shared. Yeah. So that's that. And I don't think that was just the rest. So yeah, that's kind of another reason. So they're going on this vacation for just the week, or a little staycation for the weekend. Judith Sunshine is also the brain behind. You guys have seen articles about it. You've seen it on the news about this TSR project, the Savage Realm, and this is a amusement park that is going to kind of cater to, rich individuals who want this kind of medieval fantasy experience. It's not open yet, and so after that happens, the party hears, or the teens hear a radio message from DJ Beastie Hook, who is someone that Clara used to listen to. And he had been off the radio for a long time. He comes back on, kind of explains why he's been gone, and he tells everybody, like, please don't play Machine God 3, it's dangerous, and then he'll pay anybody to buy copies back from them. So the party meets with Beastie Hook. They, after throwing their own party at the house while the parents are gone and getting it wrecked when there's a dance-off,
And when the party, is over, DJ Beastie Hook arrives. He also shows up with Tony, your friend who disappeared, Brian. Turns out Brian is Beastie Hook's nephew, and they are looking for his mom, Stephanie. And Beastie Hook goes through. He goes through this long explanation of what's happened to him over the past few weeks. And so basically, what was happening is he's a pirate. He's a DJ pirate, and his pirating is because he pirates shit. He steals like online files and software, and so he had hacked this company called AEP and stole what he thought was copies of this video game called Machine God 3. And what was interesting is that the files weren't just copies. Every file was a very different code, right? Like a very individualized code, which would make sense because every game should be like a different one for sales. And then he pirated those games, and then he sold them to a bunch of kids. Well, turns out you all know what Machine God did to people and put them in this euphoria state and kind of started to make them all like work together towards this one like goal. And so what he found out is that Machine God 3 was not a video game at all, but AEP was like an experimental artificial intelligence, and what each one of those copies was a piece of Machine God, a piece of the actual AI. And so through the tournament that you all played, the Machine God was trying to reassemble itself and use the humans that it was kind of putting in this paradise to help it put itself back together and like upload itself potentially into like the World Wide Web. You all seem to have thwarted those actions. And so and basically what happened to him is all of his fellow DJs, he describes like they start acting weird and stop DJing after they start playing Machine God. And when he realized what was going on, he locked himself away because they were trying to get the final copy. He thought he had the final copy because Annika has the final copy. They were trying to get it from him. And Brian was under the spell of Machine God and basically told his mom she knew where Beastie Hook was and brought her to the ship where he himself, Brian and the other DJs were like, hey, if you don't come out of here, we have like your sister. And so of course Beastie Hook came out of the room he had locked himself in on this Magnetrine ship. There was a fight, the ship crashed. He survived, but when he woke up, Stephanie was gone, the mom. Brian was there still under the power of the Machine God, and then the DJs were gone. And that power over Brian didn't drop until you all stopped the tournament, and that's when he woke up. We also know there was a fire at that tournament. And so when he did a little bit more digging, he was able to find the footage from the cameras inside of that warehouse. And while you all were experiencing this crazy like video game kind of realistic world, what the video actually shows in that warehouse is that some guys kind of in military gear, kind of like security or special ops, come in, 3 of them, clear the place looking for like basically trying to get like floppy disks or like collect whatever information they can. They don't find much, and then they start like pouring gasoline all over the place while there's players strapped in like playing Machine God who are literally oblivious to what's happening around them. And then they notice that one of the players looks familiar. They grab her. We find out from the low resolution that person is Sarah, Annika's friend. They snatch her, drag her out, and then they burn the place down. So all that has happened, and so he's basically, Beastie Hook asks you to find his sister, Stephanie, Brian's mom, find his friends, and you all are like kind of bought in because you want to find Sarah for Annika. And he pays you $500. The group gets together. They go out to Boulder Island that night. They get by some crazy guards on the docks. They land on the island itself. They find one of the greenhouses. They break into one of the greenhouses. And what they find in a back room beyond the fruits and vegetables growing is something strange and otherworldly. Basically, strands of like what look like human muscle and meat growing on these kind of trees, but not bloody, like just white spindly strands that are being kind of grown with these artificial lights and being used, these muscle. And before they can kind of take in what's happening, they are shot with darts. Everyone falls, is kind of knocks out, and then they awake on a cart, kind of going through these Jurassic Park style, grand doors into this other land, and a cart being led by an android, and they find themselves essentially in a full-on medieval fantasy amusement park setting with kind of rough and tumble, not the best, what you would expect to be like these realistic human robots, which in this little town are just kind of like the kind of janky robots they see, around town as normal. These robots are kind of singed and burned and seem be a little wonky, but and then over the intercoms, this lady's voice is basically like, I don't know why you're on my island, but you're gonna help me with my experiments. Closes the door, locks them in there. They have these wristbands on that allow them to calculate kind of like what class and race they are, and they get into a fight with some orcs that raid the village, and they realize that their spells actually work on these robots, actually like hurt them, and in addition they can also just actually bash the robots, and that will stop them as well. But they realize that like while they're playing a game, the orcs are not holding back and are swinging real weapons, and so it gets a little harrowing as they realize like whoever's put him in here, this lady in this voice, is essentially like trying to kill them. When things get too hairy, some robots show up who seem to be on their side, bows and arrows that kind of hit these guys with EMP rounds and take them out. And then they are taken and led into a shelter beneath the ground, not far away from the town. Find themselves like in this like utility closet or utility like halls. And in this one space with all these robots around her, we reveal and they find Sarah, flanked by robots, and rushes and hugs Annika, happy to see her. And that's where we ended. I know that's a lot, but that's where we ended last session. So if you've got more questions, we'll kind of play off of each other, but that's everything that happened. A lot happened in that last session. That's everything that happened. Does anybody have anything that they, from your character's perspective, because I can't get it all, that you think was really important either to the party or to yourself or to your character that you think it would be important to add to what I've shared? Please feel free to jump in there and share that with the rest of everyone. Okay. All right. Well, I know we haven't played in a while, so I know I always say this, it always takes us a while to kind of get back into the groove, get back into our characters, so I'll make sure I'll give us some time to role play at the beginning. But I'll go ahead and set the scene. And then because the way things from the Flood is typically supposed to work is that, Game Master sets a scene, and then it's one of the few games that I don't want to take that agency away from you. It's like players get to set scenes. So this will feel a little different because they're kind of stuck in one place, right? They can't just like fast forward in time and go to the movies. So because they can't do that, feel free to kind of, if you feel like you need to take, you all could like, you can set a flashback scene, right? Maybe if there's, you guys can set, because it's been 6 weeks, so you guys are welcome to also set a scene where you guys were doing something before you got here that maybe plays into, or maybe you as a personal character, you'd like to set a scene where the scene is making you think about your parent situation. You'd like to, set that scene. You can do that when like the current sequence is over. So still feel free to play this as things from the Flood. We're not trying to force a D&D game. We're just adding this layer of like the flair of this theme, which we often do in this game, is kind of do heavy-handed themes too, because that's what that's what we love about the 80s and the 90s. So I'll stop rambling and let's go ahead. Okay. So we're back. In that moment, the group is walking through that hall, and Annika sees Sarah. Sarah sees Annika. Sarah is this, kind of short, black hair, young girl with like this yellow jacket on, this bow strung across her back, and a backpack, that she's kind of been rocking with as long as she's been here. The robots around her seem to respect her, and they run and they embrace, as we described before. And as the rest of the group is taking everything in, we notice that the robots that start to chant as they see this, and they chant, "We shall be made whole. We shall be made whole." And as they chant it again and again, Annika's really busy in the moment with her friend, but I think anyone else who is there it reminds you of the chant that you heard from similar robots last Halloween, when the party went to this magnetrine ship floating out in the same area in the bay, on the other, on the shores, not far from Boulder City. They remember seeing that ship MK Horizon crash, and they were dealing with robots who were trying to ascend to a level of consciousness, and they were saying they wanted to be made whole. And so it just reminds anyone, Castro, Annika, Clara in the room, it just kind of reminds you for a moment about that moment. And that's their chanting, "We shall be made whole." We kind of like push up towards the ceiling and towards like the little bit of light that's in the room, and that's where, when we come back, we will start our opening of this game. But we'll go ahead and run our credits. So welcome back to Things from the Flood, and how we normally title our sessions off of songs from the time before, from the 80s and sometimes early 90s. Tonight's session is titled Holding Out for a Hero. So in this moment, after the embrace, Sarah kind of like looks at you with, Annika, with these like bright eyes, and she's kind of holding you on the side of your shoulders, really strong. And she goes, "What are you doing here?"
I was looking for you. But what are you doing here? What's going on? We saw you get kidnapped in the warehouse.
Kidnapped? Warehouse? I mean, yeah, it's a long story. I've been here. I've been trying to get the hell out of here. But I don't know about warehouse?
When you were playing the game, the Machine God game, you were in a warehouse. You might not have realized where you were because you were in the game.
Don't get me started. I've definitely played that game, and I swear I will never play it again, and you shouldn't either. I'm going to go back from this today forward, back to being a bookworm. No more video games for me.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
But
now
still,
I'm stuck playing this weird game. You all fought pretty well out there. Like, those wristbands are a bit glitchy, and they're not all that great. But they're great when it comes to using them for the spell applications on them. But when you need to hit a robot, with something real, she kind of like steps over to a room, and in the secondary little small corner, you see a room full of like an armory of like weapons, medieval style weapons, and also some modern ones as well. There's like a couple on the table. There's some couple stun guns and some batons. She goes, you know, we took those off of some guards. We had to beat their ass, and the metal weapons, they're not that sharp, kind of rusty, but they were kind of props that were in the outskirts village blacksmith store. But yeah, I mean, God, there's so much to catch up on. I mean, yeah, she just kind of like look at you like, how did you even get here?
Oh, it's a long story, and
Same here, right?
but how long have you been here?
It feels like I've been trying to track it. I think a couple months, almost 9 weeks.
Oh.
You know, that group that I, you know, the you know, being the, you know, we all know that, at least Annika knows her being a foreign exchange student, and I'm not even gonna, you know, that's the reason. Sorry, I'm not gonna try to give her, you know, a Swedish accent. But you know, we know that Sarah has been staying with a group that's kind of like her family here in town, the Andersons. And she just kind of starts to tell Annika kind of a bit of a story about how, you know, she was staying with them, and the husband, Ryan Anderson, one day brought home a copy of this game, the you know, Machine God game. Said some kid gave it to him in a gas station. She was like, I was bored, so I tried it. I was hooked and couldn't stop playing. And finally, the family kind of pulled her away from the game when they kind of saw she was like spending too much time with it. But she wasn't really listening. But one thing that she did notice is that one thing about the Andersons is they had farmland on Big Boulder Island, and both, you know, Ryan and Elaine Anderson, they recently were offered this obscene amount of money for that land, but and she thinks it was by this Judith lady from the Sunshine Farms, and the Andersons turned it down because they wanted, while they don't live on the land, they have someone, kind of a caretaker out there. They were planning to go out there and retire, you know, eventually. And, you know, it was really weird in the house because at some point Ryan was talking about how there were thugs harassing his caretakers on the land, and they believed it was Judith. They suspected it to be her, maybe her folks, but they couldn't prove it. And she says eventually she was trying to play Machine God one weekend, and they told her that they were going to go over to the Sunshine Farms because they were invited out just to see what Judith was doing. Knowing she's kind of a bigwig, they decided they would kind of go, but, you know, didn't plan on, kind of how people go to timeshares and don't plan on buying anything. They said they would go out there and see what she had to offer, and they wined and dined them. And she goes on to tell you at some point after eating, she saw the Andersons kind of pass out, and then she started to feel sick and queasy, and then she passed out, and then she woke up here, and she's been here ever since. You know, she's been kind of surviving, and she doesn't know what Judith's endgame is, but she goes, Annika, I feel like I'm determined to escape these weird forbidden lands, and I don't know, maybe she's brought you all here to kind of do the same weird, you know, experiment that she's doing on me with you all. And then she for a second she kind of stops, and, you know, for you all to take that in. And
Yeah, I mean, she said that we were here to investigate the farm. You know, Clara's parents, or her mom, went to the farm, and we were investigating. And then, yeah, we woke up here, and Judith said that we would be part of her experiment.
She's such an asshole. Yeah, she's constantly. I've been able to spot where most of the cameras are and hit them with some spray cans that I found down here. but I still haven't found a way out. I know that on the other side of the island, outside of here, she's holed up in her mansion, encircled by all these greenhouses. She's in her little 3-story villa. That's where, and she had these, multiple rooms so so that the people I was staying with could stay. She's got a lot of employers and some pretty heavy, muscle that she's throwing around. And she must have some power, because none of this has gotten really to any of the local media outside. As you're all kind of like talking to her, which is, if anyone was like listening to the conversation and also looking at the armory, what you notice is that the weapons in the armory all are effective like they would be in game. So there's like daggers, stun gun. Those add 1 dice to your force checks. If you take a baton, +1 to your force checks. If you take a sword of any type, +2 to your force checks. A bow and arrow, if you're shooting it, they will use your move check, similar to how D&D uses your dexterity. A bow and arrow adds 1, crossbow adds 2, but a crossbow's a little bit slower to use, so it's a -1. Crossbow's just going to be a +2. And then, play an alien here for a second. The Zweihander is a +3 greatsword, and there's only one of those. But it's so here's what it is. The Zweihander is not a +3. It's a -1 to your force. But if you score a hit, it counts as 2. Every success counts as 2 successes.
I think Tony would walk over it and try to pick it up, and as he does, his bracelet will start to buzz on him. Okay. He has to drop it. Like, what the hell is this?
And then, Tony, you hear this like voice. Aha, fine traveler, you are not you're not able to equip that. Almost like a pseudo AI dungeon master voice that comes through the wristband. This weapon is not for you.
Is that okay? And he just starts picking up every sword as he goes down, and it just keeps buzzing.
This weapon is not for you, traveler. This is for a warrior. What is Tony again?
He's a druid.
Druid, yeah, warrior, fighter. You should travel to the forest. Maybe find way to attune with the nature around you.
You just want me to fight with a stick? What kind of stupid game? Okay.
Absolutely.
I guess he'll take a bow and arrow though. I think he can use that.
What's everybody else doing? Y'all can take this in. I know it's Annika knows Sarah, the best, but she's saying a lot of stuff, and you all are in this together, and there's a lot of these things are interconnected.
So as a mage, do I need a staff or something, or a wand?
Yeah, you all are taking this like indie game thing real serious. And yeah, you don't really need anything, but this is like Sarah talking. She's like, for you, your wristband's got spells on it. That's your spell book. Flick your wrist, you'll see the and it's kind of like, she kind of shows you how to like you kind of flick your wrist, kind of like virtual reality. In an augmented reality, you see like the spell list, almost like it's on your hand. It creates like the book kind of opens up, but the book's not really there. Like it's a hologram, and the book, you see the spell, and like it's eye tracking. So as you track down, it's like, oh, fireball. You look at fireball, and then you use your other hand, and it'll like basically you can pick it up, and then you can throw it out, and as you throw it out, it casts, right, and it shows you the area that it's going to cast on. It's very much like an augmented reality system.
In that case, I think I might take a crossbow. If I can.
Listen, you never have to really listen to that system. It's going to tell you can't use certain things, but I mean, we've been out here actually bashing robots, so you got to do what you have to do sometimes. But
careful,
I will say
sometimes
the spells do, because the algorithm, whatever the chip inside of them does, it acknowledges the spells, and therefore they actually work. So And yeah, she goes, so as they're kind of like looking over things, how's Clara doing here?
So Clara's looking at all the weapons because she doesn't play D&D. I think when the group played last, she sat and read her book. She wasn't playing, so she's like, she doesn't know really what she can use. So she's looking for something that she herself can pick up.
Mm-hmm.
So something like a club or a hammer or something like that. That because she's used to bashing things with her calculus book, so
she finds a +1 hammer. Yeah, she finds like a maul, and then I think these things that aren't here are still there. Yeah, you can still like look, and then there's also adventuring gear, like there's rope, boots, stuff like that. Like if you didn't like, right, so most of you are wearing like tennis shoes, right? So like if you actually wanted to like put on a pair of leather like boots, or wear a breastplate, it's all like in here. It's kind of like, and you have the feeling like it's all this stuff that like Sarah's been collecting and stealing from around the park. It's pretty much her treasure hoard.
Yeah, so Clara takes some rope and just starts putting some useful items in her backpack of stuff she thinks that they could need.
Hey Sarah, do you happen to have like a lockpick, some thieves' tools for Clara?
Actually, let me look. Let me see. I found this this bag in one of the dungeons we were searching, and I haven't really gone through it yet. So let me take a look. Let's look through it together. She kind of pours out all this like junk. There's some like gold coins that like fall out. You can't tell if they're real or not, but like another like climbing gear and stuff like that. Hanukkah, can I have a investigate check?
Let's see. No successes.
No successes. So she's like, I'm sorry. I do have these keys, but I don't know what they do. She like pulls out, and it's literally just a set of keys. So and that's the weird thing about this place, because it is an amusement park. So she also finds like stuff from like things that have like people just dropped. She's like, I've been trying to figure out what they do, and hopefully when I come across the right door, you're welcome to hold on to them.
That could be useful.
Hey, you hold on to those keys. Speaking of keys, we need to find the key to get the hell out of this place, and I've been trying to figure it out. And there's a wall around the entire place. I can't help but think that if Outskirts is the name of the village that you all recently just came from, that's where, when this place opens up, where the players are supposed to like learn, get lore on adventures that are basically get hooks on adventures that they can take. It's where they purchase gear, items, where they kind of slum it up in the tavern and the inn. There is another place on the island called the Emperor's Palace. And so what she does is she goes over and she pulls out this map. She like throws it down and she rolls this map out where everyone can see. So what it looks like is this. And she like, you can also go into Legend Keeper and look at this map. Actually, oh no. I actually want to redo. Hold on, give me 1 second, because I added some things to it. So I'm gonna reshare it from Legend Keeper. And what I'll also say, to anyone who doesn't want to be staring at my screen, I'm also going to put it in the chat. And I'll share my here again. Okay. And so as she lays this out, she kind of points to, she goes, here's the gates you all came through. This is the town. This is Outskirt. Like I said, this is where kind of people slum it up. There's a bunch of like all these interesting places. I haven't even gotten around to. I've kind of been working my way around this perimeter, and it's not the biggest place, but I've just been trying to, I've gone along all these walls to see if I can get out. But she says, I'm thinking about going to the castle of the Dragon Emperor. Yeah, I can tell you about the lore, but that is where I think that people who pay a higher price, they'll be able to go there and live like princes and princesses. And but if they're there and it's got all this luxury and stuff, I mean, it's got to have an emergency exit somewhere from the park. So I'm thinking maybe that's like one of the things where I'm thinking about going. And then as she says that, you hear this, and into the room, like this kind of very large robot, kind of bulky robot comes and leans, very big. It's like almost 7 feet tall, leans under the doorway coming into the room. And the room is lit with like flashlights in the sconces around the room that are like shining up. We're just casting a little bit of glow. And he kind of looks a little bit like, say, this guy. And so, and he kind of gets this one big eye, and he goes, Conan believes this is not the way. And she goes, oh, this is Conan. Conan takes his name from the greatest barbarian ever, Conan O'Brien. And she's,
Hello, Conan.
He kind of waves. He's got this big, like, broadsword on his back, and he goes, the robots, we respect and protect Sarah, but Conan, leader of robots, Conan has seen dreams from his god, Crumbs. Crumbs has shown Conan and all robots the path to the Promised Land. He's always talking about the Promised Land. He swears on this Promised Land that you want to tell? Yes, the Promised Land is a portal that leads past the oceans of this world to a place where we all can become one again. I am willing to take you there. We have found this place, but the portal needs a key to be opened. Conan is looking for such key, and he points to this, and of all the spots on the map, this is where Conan says he has found this Promised Land. And so you kind of can tell that she kind of has been writing Conan off. They kind of seem to be at odds in like what to do, where to go next and where to explore next. What do y'all say to that as Conan's like talking about this Crumbs and this?
It's not the first crazy robot that wanted to become one with me. I am not down.
Conan not crazy. Conan strong warrior.
Yeah, okay, y'all go be one over there. I'm gonna be many with my friends.
You cannot be one, you puny human. You.
Okay, now
we can.
Now words are hurtful. Conan. You gotta work on that.
I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Conan Barbarian get angry, and she goes, "Yes, it's okay. He don't get. They're friends." And he says, "Fine."
I take out the keys, like dangle them. Like, would any of these work?
Oh, I don't think those are the key. They don't seem like they fit what I've seen. The key, Sarah pulls out a pin, and he takes the little pin from her, and he draws it on the map, and he just draws a rectangle. That's the key. She goes, that makes no sense. There's no key like that. That's the key Conan sees in his mind. This side of we go to the Iron Forest, there is an unholy place with huge rocks rising from the sky. They call it Rittermound, named after the Dark Knight, who was chained by the gods for stealing the key to the portal. They say that he was buried alive in the mound with his family, and that he has the key on him. That is the key. You just drew a rectangle, like a vertical rectangle.
Sarah, have you seen this portal?
I haven't actually gone with them. We can take a look at it. I just think what he's saying is impossible. but you know, these she kind of steps away. She goes, these robots. Clearly, if you look at this park, it was made like, you know, last week, not last, you know, but they seem to think it's this ancient land that was built like eons ago. So I just think the key can't be real, right?
I guess it could just be part of the quest. It's like some meaningless quest.
That's what I was thinking.
But have you tried just going to the edge of the park, like the park gates? That's on the map.
Of north, west, and south, the only ones that I've gone to, she's only gone. If you're looking at the map and you're thinking like, you know, your standard orientation, she's gone east, basically back to the front gates.
Mm-hmm.
And she has it, you know, all she's seen is like what you saw is the big, you know, kind of 3-story, 4-story, like, you know, giant doors, and then the concrete walls that run around with the wired fences. I mean, I guess we can check to see if those go all the way around. Now that you all here, I'm feeling a little bit, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the confidence of my robots, but just kind of nice to have you here, and I think that maybe we can all work together to get out of here.
So Sarah, is there no one else that's stuck in the park with us, or who else
that are
is here?
humans? No.
Yeah.
I'm the only one,
Okay.
or I'm the only one I've come across.
You must be
Except for-
You must have felt so lonely.
Absolutely.
Well, we're here now. We're here. We're gonna get out of this together.
Thank you. Can I have a charm check from Orion?
Yes. In theory.
Key is real. Sarah no trust Conan. If she just go take a look. He just Conan starts to walk away back in his little corner.
I did get 1/6.
Okay. So Sarah's kind of like, she kind of smirks, like, you know, there's like she kind of looks at you like, you know, thank you. And so, you know, he can take that however he is, but, you know, whether it makes him blush or not. And they kind of move on. So I think as they all find themselves in a situation, they have decisions to make, like where they want to go in this park. There's a number of like locations, and Annika has a very interesting idea of like, yeah, just have you just walk the perimeter. That's definitely something that can be done. Conan's talking about this place to go, that, and then there's also this castle that Sarah's talking about, and I wonder what other thoughts or ideas they may have.
I mean, if this is a game, maybe either we can just escape it, we can tunnel out or something, or we can try to win and take it to the end and just follow along. I'm not sure what the best thing to do is.
So Clara's thinking the same thing. She says, you know, maybe we just need to finish one of these quests and then the game will be over. So, I mean, I think my vote is to try to finish one of these quests, and Conan's quest is as good as any to try out.
How do we know that it's not like a side quest? How do we know it's the main quest?
How do we know anything at this point?
I don't know.
Y'all don't got no like Dance with the Nobles quest or like pie eating contest quest. What else is there here? What is
If you're looking for pie eating, go back to Outskirts, the village. Plenty of fun games. And
maybe there's some quests in Outskirts.
Sarah, is there anything that you would say counts as the main quest here?
I've tried to ignore the main quest because I know I'm trying to get out of the park. But I kind of know it's something about this Emperor the Dragon Emperor Eldain and the evil, followers of some demon lord are looking for the 4 pieces of this statue. That's clear. It's the quest line for the park and those who come here. But we're trying to escape. Are you all actually saying that we should actually just play the game and that's how we'll get out?
I think we're just exploring all the options. We really don't know anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to just leave, yeah. If we can find a weakness in the wall or in the gate somehow.
How big is this place?
It's a good question. Looking at, you back out in Legend Keeper. Let me do a quick look at here of the loop. It's not very large because, let's see. I'd say if all of Boulder is,
We talking
so
Disneyland?
2 miles. It's about. Based on what this says here, then like it would literally be the entire park would probably be like 2 miles by 2 miles. It's fairly small. I mean, you're miles walking. You could definitely trek around.
Yeah, the map makes
Maybe-
it look like it could be pretty large.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Going around the perimeter
and-
could be.
And one thing that I think you understand that when you look at the map is a fantasy depiction of the world and not an accurate depiction of the park. And like if you look at a Disneyland map, right? It's not accurate, right? It's like kind of stretched. It kind of feels like that, even more embellished, to some degree, So like on the map, like that at the edge of the park, there should be shores because you're on an island, but the map doesn't depict that necessarily. It just depicts these mountain edges.
Yeah.
You guys haven't been outside to look at that, but there probably are these kind of like built mountain structures that kind of block, your view out to the sea. I think you would have seen that. You'd have seen that they've kind of built these like Matterhorn mountains, like all around the structure of this place that kind of block you out. And there's natural forests that are on Boulder and things like that. So it's just this mixture of like real and fake, as any amusement park is. A little bit more real here than like your standard amusement park. There's no, so far what you've seen, there are no like, very few like plotted concrete pathways outside of the cobblestone village. So they definitely have leaned into attention of detail over everything else. Over safety.
And we're convinced that this is not a virtual realm. This is a physical.
This is not virtual. This is very much, you are not sleeping. You're not in the machine god realm. You are very much. Now to Orion, you could roleplay it as maybe he feels like he never woke up. You can definitely feel free to like play on that. But Malcolm, I'm not going to do that to you as a GM, letting you know that's not part of the mystery. You're not in the view.
So if the park isn't
since
that big, we could go around the perimeter. I just have a feeling we're gonna need to play the game, but I mean, if that's what everybody wants to do, I think that's fine.
And
I think
also,
you're totally right.
it could be dangerous. I mean, we were attacked before. So wherever we go, we might get into more fights. But maybe if we follow the main quest, we'll notice something on the way, like something we can use to escape. I don't know.
Oni shakes head. You don't like main quest?
I mean, it sounds better than Evil God and Promised Lands, but...
So yeah, because actually main quest would be going after the statue pieces.
Yeah, like
Conan thinks he's the main quest, so he's like, no, I'm Promised Land. Like, I thought we were going on the main quest. But going after the pieces would be the main quest. That's the...
I mean, the pieces are probably all guarded, right? But
I mean, maybe we could use Conan's help, he could be a defender of us, and therefore we should help him. We need all the help we can get.
Conan don't want to go with you unless we go to Conan's location. But you can try to charm him.
I mean, if you help us first, we'll help you afterwards.
Conan likes Sarah's friend. Give me a charm check with a +1.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think I'm very good at charming. You said +1?
+1 dice. Yep. So +1 would actually be a whole dice that you would get.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 success.
Okay. Conan will help.
Yes.
You have my sword. And he kind of pulls this huge bit and he slams it into the top of the ceiling and dust comes careening down. Oops, sorry. All right. So, okay. I'm willing to listen. Since I clearly haven't gotten out of here by myself, then I'm willing to take you all's lead, and let's just do this. I'll go with you. Conan with my backup. I'll leave the rest of the robots here because we'll make too much noise moving around with a number of them. He's already noisy enough, but he's getting better at being a little bit quiet, a little bit more quiet.
I mean, if we need as many robots as possible to storm the gates or something, would they listen to you?
You're talking to Conan?
To Sarah.
To Sarah.
Don't they love her?
I believe I could get them too, but I would have to convince Conan. It is through Conan that they will listen. I know you all are probably tired. We don't have to get out of here right now. And she kind of like goes over and she goes, I found these in the old tavern like refrigerator in the back. They actually, and she kind of pulls out. You find that she's she has like a little mini fridge, and she pulls out like and then she's also got like some canned goods and like beef jerky and stuff like that she pulls out, and some bottled waters, and then some of the things are just kind of like flavored like they're from that, like these little like crackers and biscuits and like little pouches of dried like trail mix that say rations on them and come in these like little like pouches. There's plastic inside, but they come in like your little dice bag. And she's like, here, we can take some of these with us, but yeah, if you guys need a rest before we go,
Well, it would be good to learn a little bit more about how these bracelets work if we're going to be going on a quest.
Yeah.
So it says I'm an orc thief. What does that mean? What do I do? I mean, do I just steal stuff, or what's my job?
And here's where I want to, because this is when we play Tales, it's a little bit more. You're asking, because Claire's asking the question, but I want Deborah to be able to decide what that is as she plays with the bracelet. Like, I don't want to necessarily dictate what that is. We all know like what orcs are, but what does the orc like? What does she think? Is it probably a traditional orc? If I had to, yes, she's being kind of like you said, the stabby thief, and so you would probably have a pretty nice, the wristband would give you probably like a sneak attack ability. I would think that when you activate it would cause robots, whether you're in front of them or not, to like look at someone else, like to kind of set their eye on another target so that you could run up and like hit them, or so that could be something. That's one thing that can make canon.
Can Clara ask the bracelet questions?
Sure.
Does that functionality
you can ask them.
exist?
You can ask them the. Basically, you can ask me, the GM, the investigation questions without making the investigation check, and I'll tell you if like you can ask me questions.
Because I was originally
like, yeah.
asking Sarah what I was supposed to do. Just
I know, and
I think
Sarah's like, Yeah, like Sarah doesn't like know. You get the feeling like Sarah's not like a huge, like she's not really into this. Like she's like, I don't want to be
Just
here.
stuck
Like
here.
I don't want to play D&D. Like it's like she's like stuck in Skyrim or Baldur's Gate 3 and she doesn't want to. So she hasn't, you notice she's not even wearing one of the bracelets. She's
Okay.
just like, she's got like a bow and arrow and a dagger. She's like, really stabbing, robots for real. I'm trying to like knock them out. So she's like, hasn't really explored that part.
Okay.
But
and
I think
Clara looks at Tony and says, you are kind of a nerd. What's the deal with an what's the deal with an orc thief? What am I supposed to do?
Gotta pay attention when we're hanging out, having family time. Does it cool, okay? You're basically like, how I am outside? You're like that just pretend like you're me and stuff should work for you. Climb, find places to hide.
So pretend like I think I'm a cool jock, but really I'm a dork inside.
No,
Is that what you're
remember
saying?
how I used to fight? Remember how I used to fight? Fight like how I used to fight when we was in trouble, when you guys got me in trouble.
I remember you climbing on things a
That's
lot.
good,
I don't remember
yes.
you fighting
Thieves
things
climb.
very much.
I threw stuff at people. Throw some stuff.
So your advice is to climb things and throw stuff.
I mean, that's what the thief did in the game. I don't know.
Okay, so now she's like, ugh. So now she starts punching the bracelet and trying to ask it questions. What weapons can I use as a thief? What should I do?
the questions, the weapons that are most effective for you are daggers, short swords, probably rapier maybe. Look at Jason, like probably not, but daggers, short swords. Bow and arrow could accommodate you well, and typically characters like yourselves are scoundrels and misfits within society looking to raid ruins of lost civilizations and collect treasure above all else. As an orc, you are from a kin and a breed who hail from the mountains and who have warred with the humans for centuries, defined by your grayish or green skin and your tusks and your mouth. That's what the
Did he just say I
bracelet-
have tusks? Ugh. So she
And then
goes over to the weapon area and is trying to pick through things, swords and stuff, and figure out what she can use, swinging it
And
around.
What you all
You
realize
said
is
you're
like
the father
Clara
of your
hasn't
mouth.
looked at her wrist, like on her bracelet there's a button to turn off augment reality. So she's like, when she says, did she just say his tusk, she looks at you all and like she has this like orc face like hovering over hers with the tusk, but she can't like see it, but you all can. So I don't know if Tony tells her.
You look great.
So you see the shortest orc in the world, frustrated and digging through weapons, trying to figure out what a short sword is. So she picks up a sword that looks fairly short. She tries to swing it around to see if she's able to do it, and she decides
Sarah
that's
goes,
what she's
I was
thinking.
an elf ranger, and so in a weird way I'm kind of, I think I've kind of become my class. My wristband shorted out a little bit a while ago.
I think Tony's gonna give up on this stuff. He's just gonna throw it and take it old school, like we did last time I got trapped in a real weird ass world and had to defend myself. So Tony's gonna go outside and just pick up like a bag and just start putting some rocks that he could throw. Just get a nice stick he could use to like
Okay.
bang on people. He's not doing. You don't know this.
The
That's
weapons
how
are
we-
real inside, so he's
Yeah,
gonna take
but
the
this,
stick.
but this is how he survived. He didn't have access to bladed weapons when he got teleported to what was the world called? Yeah,
Korax
he was
11.
Yeah, Korax. We didn't have all this. We had the stick. We had the rocks. This is how we do. We doing this old school.
So you have a chance to actually be in a D&D game environment, but you're not going to play it.
Well, Tony's also.
This
a
is
druid.
not Clara asking. This is me asking.
I chose druid so that I could do this.
Makes sense.
So that a stick and rocks would actually work as weapons for me. But yeah, but in
I like it.
Tony is like, stupid bow. I know how to use this.
Annika is going to pick up a crossbow and a bunch of arrows to take with her.
So do these wristbands help us actually know how to use these weapons, or are we just dorky kids?
Just
trying to steal
imagine
these
that, because like
weapons?
if we role played this all day, I could role play like how the wristbands work this entire time. But I want you all to think of like role play, like if you're actually getting the combat, to role play how you are essentially learning how to use the wristband. So if you want to do something with this wristband, think narratively. Do that. Worst case I'll say is like, I don't think the wristband can do that, but most likely I'm not. You guys know how I play the game.
Well, I'm just thinking like when Clara picks up the sword, she's not suddenly capable of using a sword. She's a kid holding a sword, right?
She's just a kid holding a sword.
Okay,
yeah.
Just making
so
sure.
What I'm saying the wristband would do is like, say she's a barbarian, what you all are seeing is like, if she was that class, it doesn't make the sword any easier to use, but it would convey to whatever she's fighting to maybe slow down or to lower its stats, because she should be stronger than it, right? Like it's she's using, if she's a thief or she's gonna be assassin, then let's say she's fighting an android, that android might actually look away from her more often to allow her to do the sneak attacks if they're operating the way they should be, right? So far they have been, and maybe that's because Judith wants to actually test to see if her stuff works, even though she's also being cruel and sinister.
I mean, Castro did just throw fire randomly at people.
I did.
So
This Castro's like loading up on weapons,
maybe just try being like Castro, throw some fire.
I think mine, like Castro like says, I think it was a glitch, because I haven't been able to do it again. I would have tried.
So we lowering that spell level for sure.
Well, do you want to head out tonight? It's getting a little late. We can head out in the morning. And if so, are we doing the perimeter? Are we heading? Are we just going to take on one of the lords so that we can find one of the pieces? We could go back to town. I mean, Conan also has one of the pieces of the lore that is connected to the main storyline, and she basically references him talking about this place called Rittermound, where there's this skeleton that is part of the main quest storyline. This place where rocks rise up. Basically, just like he said, it would be somewhere on the map where this knight lived in a forest, and the gods like chained him there and brought down like everything on great rocks on his location. So basically entombed him. So you'd be looking for something that kind of matches that on the map, if that's where you plan. If that's one, you could go back to Outskirt and get more like quote unquote like hooks or side quests, or try to find quests that sound like they're part of the main storyline. But yeah, just so you all feel like you have something there.
They did also say there's better food in Outskirts.
I think regardless of where we decide to go, we should probably rest for the night, because I'm exhausted.
Did any of you have exhaustion at all, or any of your or injured or from the last game? Well, anybody that played. If not, if you didn't, that's fine. But if they do want to take a rest, they can, and I'll give them some kind of bonus for it if they want to do that.
Yeah, I have scared and exhausted, I think.
Okay. And so I know you would normally. You can reduce those by using your anchor, which the short rest would give you a time to do, so count it the same way. So you'd be able to get rid of one of those over the course of the night. And because there's silence, I'm going to just assume that they are resting. So over the course of the evening, time passes on. And I'm going to take some liberties here, as we do in Tales from the Loop, because these work on scenes and not like D&D, where it's kind of like moment by moment. And so in our next scene, we find you all kind of early in the morning, kind of waking up, and we see them. They've already kind of had their morning ritual, whatever that might look like. We now see them leaving that little sewer grate that was hidden under a bush and stepping out of the kind of like the forest glade into the wilderness around them. They are closest to, actually didn't say on the map, but I should show you, but if you are close up Sarah here, they're probably like right outside of, they're right around here. Let me see. I can also see my, there you go. So they're right around this area. And they're close to the nearest path that either leads back towards the city, or they can lead off. They can go around the city. There's this place over here that looks foresty. There's a place over here that looks like ruins of some tower. This is down here where the promised land is. This is up here where the castle is. And yeah, so we see them kind of stepping out into the sun kind of bathing on them. Clouds are open and wide. They can hear like birds chirping in a weird way. For a second, as much as they don't want to be here and they're kind of scared and want to go home, like like an amusement park and kind of being no people all around, for a moment they're almost like enchanted by their environment. They almost like feel like they are somewhere else. They are in this magical realm. And who's going to be their pathfinder? Who will lead the way? Or I imagine you could say it's Sarah and Conan because they know the surrounding, but who would be like the second person? Who would be the person like up there marching with them, kind of helping in that?
Tony, being the low-key nerd but trying not to be the nerd here, is just going to look at Annika and be like, kind of, no? Yeah.
Yeah, Annika is still,
On that path?
she's not a leader, but I mean, at least she knows Sarah, so she feels, I guess, some confidence in that, and yeah, she'll walk in front with Sarah.
Okay. Can I have a lead check from Annika with a +1?
Yes.
This is less about her actually understanding, but her like kind of like actually trying to like bolster that, kind of be a bit of a leader in this moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, she failed.
Okay. She can push, but she does take an exhaustion when she does. So, and so she's like kind of gets up there awkwardly looking back at Tony like, "Come on, man!" Like, and they kind of walk off. And because of that, I do need you to roll a D12 for me. Oh, actually, if you don't have a D, you probably didn't bust out a D12 because we're playing Tales. If you don't, I can roll one for you. This is a random roll, so it's just a randomized roll. Jason, you got a D12 sitting close? If not, I'll pull one out.
Yeah, if you need me to. I got one right here.
Do you have one,
Yeah.
Annika, sitting
Or do you
close?
have one?
Manny,
I
do you
don't
have
have one.
Okay,
No.
then we'll let Jason, you roll one.
Yeah, I rolled a 12.
Okay. That is basically to see if anything happens as they travel off into the distance. And can you tell me what direction they're going? Do you all know what direction they're going, or where they're like north, south, east, west, or if they are like maybe looking at one of the question marks and kind of targeting that, or if they're going to the town? Do we know yet?
So where are we starting?
Right around here. So I say you're closest to this question mark. You're like right here. If you're looking on the screen, right there. Let me get rid of Conan here for a second so you can see more of the map on my screen. But you are right around. Let me put my cursor right around here. Oh, right. I gotta click on it first. There you go. Right around there where I'm hovering.
Okay, so we're not too far from the outskirts.
Yep.
I mean, if Annika was leading, she would say go to the west, to the closest question mark.
Okay.
but she failed her lead role. So I don't know.
Yeah, so where did we actually go? Is the question.
Well, Sarah goes, "Don't, Anna. It's okay. Like, you know, we're all in this together. Like, you want to go that way? I mean, I haven't checked that place out. It's worth a shot. What do you all say? We can't stand around here all day, or something's gonna eventually attack us."
I think Annika's idea is fine. Let's go.
Okay. Is there a vote?
one
'Cause I was
thing
hearing.
you-
Is there anybody that's like definitely like we should go to outskirts, over we should just go
I
explore?
mean, I wanted food. Well, it's all good. We can eat trail mix for the rest of the time. It's cool.
Where is outskirts from here?
It's the
It's the
town.
village. It's the house.
It's
So
the
it's
village.
not
It's the
that far
same
away,
village that
right?
was attacked by the orcs that you just came from. Remember
Well,
the
if we
kings?
need food and
Yeah.
supplies, we can.
But
go
after,
there
yeah,
first.
but that's the thing. If I asked Annika to lead, I'm not gonna like ask
Yeah,
Annika
yeah.
to lead and then be like, "Why are you leading that way?" No, I asked her to
So
lead.
we're going to this location. Sounds like. All right. As they head off in that direction, we'll take a 5-minute break and pick up
Oh
there.
no! Apparently, a
So
12 is
we're-
actually an encounter.
I'm taking 5 breaks because we've been playing for like an hour and a half. Feels like
Yeah.
it's
Have
crazy
we
that went
played though?
it went by so fast, just like role playing, like hour and 20 minutes. You know, just
Yeah.
fast. So usually around the time where I give a break. So.
Join the music.
Yes, please. Now,
Not bad.
gotta look for that quest giver. Gotta look for that cat with a random light on him for no reason. What's happening? Where we at?
booger.
I'm taking this way too seriously. I'm over here reviewing my advanced D&D spells. Like, what can I do?
Which class did you pick again?
A druid, so it's a priest
Mm.
subclass.
Right.
I'm assuming we should supposedly not be like super high level. Technically, it wouldn't be a druid because I think they were called like initiates or something back then. If you were at low level, like you didn't become a druid until you were strong. Like in later editions, where it's just like, no, this is your class. Call it your class.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I've only played the 5th edition.
Apple. I didn't start playing until 2020, but just had some groups that dabbled in older editions. They're all a good time. Some require slightly more math than others.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not gonna get rid of my D&D at heart. D&D is my game.
Sorry, it took me a little longer than usual.
No, I pinged you a quick question just to make things
Oh, okay.
easier, because that's probably going to be like the base of what I'm going.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I would.
Cool.
Yeah.
You should have made Conan take the Zweihander. I'm kind of sad that nobody took it.
I imagine that. I know Renee would want to take it. I wonder if Jose would have actually taken it.
I think Castro, Renee playing Castro as a wizard, knowing he's a wizard, would probably still have tried to pick up the Zweihander.
Yeah.
Zweihander just because it's Castro.
'Cause it's
It's
Castro.
living out comic book fantasies. What do you mean he's not going to pick up the biggest sword they have?
Absolutely. So, yeah, the park is not that large. So as you travel, it doesn't take much more than 15 minutes to get close to this location that you see. And as you're standing under it, what you notice is that it appears to be an old ruin, like a spiral tower. But it's kind of dilapidated and some of the wall structures have broken, and the way it is, it's built to be crumbled that way. It doesn't look like there's any place to actually enter, and it looks like you would actually need to climb it to get to the top. It's also surrounded by some brush. The day, it's kind of bright. There's a few clouds kind of wafting over, but for the most part it's kind of bright out, and sunny, and the roads are clear and quiet, and yeah, that's what you see. You don't quite see an entrance. It could be climbed to get to the top. There seem like at the top there's like it's about 3.5, almost 4 stories high, and it appears like it could have been like a top of a tower, like a battlement, but you can't quite see where it looks like you could actually stand up there, but one side of it is kind of crumbled. There's a bit of debris and broken rock. And since if this was an amusement park, I mean, you can do whatever you want here. But it doesn't seem like it's easily accessible. Someone would clearly be taking a real risk to climb up there.
Clara, looks like it's your time to shine.
So, okay, so what does the rock face look like? Just, can you recap that?
Yeah, it's the rock face of this place. It looks like it used to be like a wizard's tower or something like that, but it's mostly it's kind of crumbled on one side. So, but there's footholds in the stone, and so it's meant to look like this ancient tower, right, of some kind of mysticism.
Okay.
And then
And
it's got
how
all these
tall?
like shrubs and vines growing around. It's like 3.5 feet. I mean, 3.5 stories tall. And
Okay.
you can see a little landing at the top. And then as you're all looking, Ken, from you and Tony, since you were both talking, can you both give me an investigate or actually not investigate because you're not. I guess they don't have a. Can I get a comprehend? I'm gonna treat that like a perception comprehend check.
Oh, it's just as bad. All right, let's try this out. Come on, Tony, you can do it. Hey, 1-6.
By you, Clara.
Oh, you wanted me to take? Sorry. I thought...
A comprehend as well from you.
Okay.
I talked to you, so now you
Is
have
there
that.
still the ability to roll this through Legend Keeper?
Yeah. There it is on the you know what, I never put the what do you call it? The code into this Tales from the Loop. You can go to Alien and you can roll from the Alien.
Okay. I
should-
wasn't sure because I remembered we had
Yeah,
the
you
ability to.
You could go to
Okay.
Alien and roll from there. Roll some
Let me do
D6s.
that.
And you wouldn't
Actually,
have to separate them.
it's okay. I think I can do it on here
Or
because
you
I'm
can
not
roll on
in the
Google.
same-
Yeah, you can roll
That's
on
what I'm
Google.
doing. Sorry,
That's
this
exactly what I
is
did.
taking me a second.
D&D Beyond also is another way.
Okay, so I'm rolling a comprehend.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Oh gosh. I got 1 success.
Okay, so with your 2 successes, what Clara notices that there is, amongst all that shrubbery at the top of the tower, on the side of it, kind of hidden by some fake bushes, mixed in with the real ones, or the shrubbery of the ivory, it's like a little comms tower and like a little box, like a little comms unit. And then as you notice that, Tony, you looking up, you hear this, and you see 2 humanoid figures kind of flutter off the top of the tower and fly around looking like vultures, but with like human female bodies and clawed feet. And Sarah goes, "Oh no, not heartbeats." So now, I mean, you all see the harpies at that point. Tony notices them first, but then everybody sees them kind of fluttering around. There's at least 2 of them, and there's like a third one, and then they land back, almost like they're nesting. They kind of land out of sight again, but from your angle where you're standing, you can tell there's at least 3 up there, but there's also a comms unit up there.
So they're at the top of the tower,
They're at the
is
top.
what you're saying.
So this comms unit that looks modern.
It looks modern. That's definitely not,
Uh-huh.
yeah. It's some kind of like modern comms unit up there.
I'm assuming that the others pointed out when they see
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, I can get up there,
So,
but I can't do anything with that unit.
so I can try to get up there, but how am I gonna not get attacked by those bird things?
We got you back.
Well, let's see.
As you all
I've
are
got
having this
a,
happen,
I've
you
got
hear
a crossbow.
Glum, 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 as you all are talking, glum, 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 glum. And up the road on the other side of this, this tower, you kind of all look out and you can hear like horse, like hooves galloping towards you, and what you all see is, before it sees you, is like down like the road, kind of about to come up over the ridge, but you see it on the other side where he hasn't seen you, is a knight riding a horse. Now there's a bunch of shrubbery that you all could like dive into and hide, or you could stand in the road and meet this figure, this character, when he comes up and crests over the top.
Does he look like a friendly knight or a ominous knight?
The cape is blue, the metal is shiny and like and silver. He's got like this helmet on with like kind of like dragon wings coming off the side, like that's what he kind of make out. His long sword is sheathed. The horse is like a white with black kind of patches. Kind of riding.
Sarah, should we hide?
That's probably a paladin. We should be good.
Conan might have to kill Knight.
Kill Knight.
Conan might have to
Let's
take a chill
not kill
pill.
the knight yet unless
Okay.
he attacks us.
I'm gonna hide.
we hide?
okay?
Should
I'm
Conan hide?
I'm gonna hide. You can hide too, Conan, if you want.
Clara's gonna stand in the road.
Conan hide.
Oh, Clara!
I'll get out my crossbow and
What
my
your-
stealth
Hide.
bracelet.
What's your name, mage? Looking at Orion.
Oh, my name is Ori.
Ori,
Ori the
let's
mage.
hide. He just kind of clambers down, and, like breaks a bunch of branches. And he's like sitting down in them, so he's still like slightly hidden behind a rock, but kind of more obvious than everyone else. Kind of looks like a boulder. Can I get a sneak check from anyone who's hiding? Anyone else who's standing in the roadway just stays in the roadway.
I'm staying in the
I
roadway.
mean, I go stand in the roadway, but I'm not hiding either.
Got one success.
Annika
Okay.
tries to hide, but she fails.
Oh my god, Annika, your dice! Like,
Yeah, I know.
What curse is on those things? We gotta get you some successes. All right, so Annika's like kind of trying to hide. Orion's hidden. Conan's hidden. Sarah jumps in there and she kind of grabs and tugs on Annika, trying to like get her into a safe spot. But defiant is Clara, this orc, a thief.
It doesn't know she looks like an orc at this
Yeah.
point. She thinks she looks like a girl.
Yeah, now,
Okay, so
Tony is slightly off the road just in case this paladin doesn't like stopping.
What I imagine it looks like is it looks like you. The filter is like making your skin kind of look green, and then it's adding the tusks on the bottom. So it's kind of Clara. She just got green skin and tusks.
Yeah.
What you doing, Tony?
Tony just off to the side. He not in the road, like he not standing in front of the horse. That's
Okay.
not happening. But he not hiding. He's like, "You got this, Clara."
And so as it rides up over it sees this orc in the middle of the road and stops, and kind of looks. Traveler. An orc. But you seem to be with. It calls out. It sees like Clara, and then looks out at Annika and Tony. Travelers, are you with this bandit?
No, not a bandit. Not a bandit.
Oh.
I'm
Where
not a
are you?
bandit. I'm just an adventurer.
Oh.
She says.
Kind of takes his hand off. And he's still got like the mask down, so you can't see this guy's face. He's just got like that little visor down. The dragon wings on it, and it says, where are you all headed?
I mean, up this tower, or we want to get into this
Yeah.
building.
We came upon
Ah,
this tower.
So
and
you
thought,
are rogues and raiders.
No, we were
Thieves.
told
No,
there's
no, no, no.
trouble in the
we're
area.
explorers and adventurers.
Yeah, just friendly adventurers.
We came to help.
Explorers tend to be thieves.
No, we came
No,
to
no,
help
no,
the
no, no.
I'm not a
people.
thief.
No, no, no.
Look, there's
I need
monsters.
someone to give. You are in the presence of Tylos, the knight of a dragon knight of the honorable order of the Immaculate Flame, keeping evil at bay wherever I see it. Prove to me you are just. Someone gotta give him a charm check.
Well, I think I'm the one who's talking to him, so I guess that's probably Clara.
He
so-
doesn't see Orion, and he doesn't see Conan at this point. He sees you three.
But he's a robot.
The way he moves, you would assume, but you can't see under the armor, right? Like
But
there's
the horse
something
is
kind of
real.
unhuman about him, but he also doesn't look. He looks like a knight. Like he looks very much like.
That is a good question. Is the horse real?
The horse looks very real.
Okay, Clara gets one success. I don't know if that's enough.
And so, why are you climbing this structure?
Well, we just happened upon this structure and then looked up and saw these bird women flying, and I don't know what they are. Do you know what they are? They
Dreaded
look
harpies.
like birds, but they look like women too.
Dreaded harpies. I don't know why they never come in a male form, but they must be destroyed at all costs. They typically attack, carry away horses and such. They definitely eat humanoid flesh. Do you need my aid?
Yes, if you could assist us, that would be most appreciated.
I will help you, but I will expect you to quest for me.
What kind of quest?
I need adventurers willing to go to a temple of the Purple Flame and to extinguish the evil, vile cultists who live there, or who have taken up residence there.
Where is that? How far is it?
And he says, about a day's ride. And you know that can't be true because like the place is not small, but like a day's ride to he says, southwest. And he goes, if you have a map I can show you.
Yes, please, we have a map.
And so he points to this location here. Well, I could help you with these harpies, but I guess you would only need help once they attack. So you better get to climbing if that's what you're going to do.
So Clara starts climbing. She's pretty scrappy. We'll see if this works.
Move check from her.
So you're
This
coming
is
with us,
a
right?
this is a move check that needs 2 successes.
Okay.
Ooh.
I might be pushing this because I'm not that.
Now,
great at
what are
moving.
you? Are you using anything to make make the check?
Well, you said there's handholds, right? So
It's handholds, but like
I don't
did you
know how
check your
much a
bracelet?
rope would help at this stage.
Check your bracelet.
Check my bracelet.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to climb.
Okay, she checks her bracelet and says, "Is there anything I can do to climb this tower?"
when it comes to climbing, you will look for portions in the park where there are yellow steps, which will get you to where you want to go. Unfortunately, this is a place that is quite dangerous. I cannot help you here. As you realize, this is literally not part of the game, and therefore kind of like an off limits. You're climbing on your own.
I thought this was part of the main quest. I guess not, huh? Okay.
You guys don't really know. You guys just went to this location. You guys
Okay,
just came.
sounds good.
Yeah. It's just a question mark on the map. It doesn't necessarily mean it's part of the main quest.
Okay.
It's just on the park. Mhm.
So she's like, "Thanks, bracelet," and then she starts looking for handholds to climb.
All right, you're gonna be the move check, and I need 2 successes.
So I have 5 dice for this. We'll see how this goes. I only got 1 success, so I guess I can push it, right? And
You
roll
can
the
push
rest? Do I roll the rest if I push?
You can roll all the way again. You roll everything all over, but you will take a condition if you push.
So, okay, so I don't get to keep the one I already got.
Yes,
Wait,
no, you
so-
can. You can. I'm sorry. You can keep any successes when you push.
Okay, so then I roll. Okay, so I'm gonna push. Then I roll 4. And I did not get a success. I didn't succeed.
And so,
So I'm
which
not doing
condition
too
will
well
you
here.
take?
I'm gonna take exhausted.
Okay. Suddenly, the knight leaps into action, and rides his horse over and catches Clara, and slowly places you down, and then kind of looks, goes, "There, my friend. I believe I have done my good duty for today, so I will expect to meet you at the Temple of the Purple Flame. You will remove your exhaustion as you were caught, and then the knight turns and rides off
So the harpies are still here.
The harpies are still up there. Yeah.
Well, that worked really well, guys. But my bracelet said this isn't a main part of the quest.
No, so think of it like what the bracelet was saying is like Tony was saying, look at your bracelet. Like, for example, like there's a video game, or if it was a real life where it was saying like, okay, this is a place that you should be trying to climb. There's probably markers to where you would walk the path to get to said location. There's none of that here. So, you know, if you're in an amusement park, there are places that you're just not supposed to necessarily go as part of the quest. It doesn't mean you can't go there. It's like, I don't know if you've ever recently heard of these people who like sneak into Disney attractions like after hours or like go into places and parks. This seems like this might be, because this is essentially what this is, what you all are starting to get, is this is a very heavily fabricated comms tower.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I'm saying? So unless you're going up there to try to like hack into that thing or get something out of it, it's probably not necessarily a story quest. It
Right.
might be more so how do we get out of this fucking
That's
park?
what Clara was getting to.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
if
But
our
it's-
goal is to complete the main quest, this is probably not going to get us there.
Mhm.
But if we're going to use it for something else, like, do we want to still do this?
I mean, Annika is very intrigued by this communications tower. Like, well,
All right,
What
climb up
does
the
it-
tower. then.
Clara welcomes Annika to attempt to climb the tower since
We got your back.
Clara failed.
So you just holding a rock.
Actually, I'm going to retcon something. As the knight rolled, I think what he would have also handed to help is before he rode off, he would have given Clara a metal grappling hook to tie a rope to.
mm,
Okay, so she gets her rope out of the backpack. Do you really want to climb? Because I can tie this rope to this hook and you can go up there.
And there's this little like off ledge. It looks like if she could aim it right, she could like launch it around there and kind of get a good. If it works, that would get a good grip. And if that latches, that anyone that climbs would not need to get the two, you know, because then they could use the rope and use the handholds when they need to rest, and it would be a lot easier for any of you to climb if you could use the rope that way.
yeah, because like Annika is not very good at anything athletic, like climbing.
Yeah.
So she would definitely need some help to do this.
Does Annika have like Tinker and? Like,
Yes.
She's
could
very good
she
at
could have-
tech.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's more of a tech person.
But did you want to make the climb?
Sure.
Okay, so Clara ties the hook on and then attempts to throw it up to the top.
All right. Clara, for that, you can give me a move check as well.
Okay. I got 2 successes on that one.
Okay.
But before, but you know.
It locks into place really well, meaning that I'll put a little extra on top of that like even if someone fails, they're not gonna like tumble and take an exhaustion on the next check because you got the 2 successes.
Okay. So Annika will try to climb.
I love how everybody's just pushing Annika to like just out of her comfort zone. Like yeah, be a leader, go climb. Like she's like, I don't want to do this.
I can climb it. I'm just not useful up there. Like I'll just be up there.
Well,
Well, what
I
do-
mean, maybe you can help Annika
Yeah.
somehow.
You can all
Because-
climb now, technically. So you know, you'd all be making the check to climb.
Yeah, me climbing is not going to stop Annika from falling.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you can.
Keep in
Some-
mind there's still harpies up there.
Yeah, there's still harpies. I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you guys
why
want to
I'm
try
Mr.
to
the
Knight
rock.
didn't actually do us that much of a favor.
That's why I'm holding the rock instead of climbing.
the rock.
I mean, I only have 2
Should
dice.
we shoot them down? Don't some
in-
of us have
Yeah, I
arrows?
was gonna say, don't
Sarah's
some of you
like,
guys have bows and
Yeah.
arrows?
You
I
don't
have
know
a
how nice
crossbow.
I am with this rock. Y'all out.
Do I
Wait
have any
for it.
spells that I could use to shoot the harpies?
You tell me what spells you have.
Oh, do I ask?
No, you don't. I want you to just so you're a mage. What spell do you think would be very useful here? I know it's hard to get out of this like D&D mindset where like we're like looking for what we have. This isn't that game. This is literally like, what do you think? This is your chance to like do the fun shit, like use a spell that you never use that you'd want to use here. This is a chance.
I
to
mean,
make
would
up
animal
a spell.
friendship work on them?
You can try.
You
I
can
work on
try
half
it.
of them.
Yeah. So what I might ask, what I would probably, so the thing is, you are a wizard, right? So way I would treat that
yeah,
is
mage.
wizards use, they're going to use to cast their spells. They're going to use mind.
Okay.
Because you're using.
Okay.
So you are going to, even though it's a part of your kind of this thing, kind of like ties in with you and who you are. So you're going to give me a mind check, and if you get a success, your spell works.
Just raw mind,
Raw mind.
nothing else. Okay.
Not charm, not because I don't. Well, animal handling. You know what? I'll give you charm because animal handling is essentially that. Then we're assuming that they're actually that it will work on these harpies. But
Okay.
yeah, you can go ahead and give me. If it doesn't work on harpies, then what I'll tell you is you might need more than one success. But let's try it. Let's see if we can at least get one.
I got one success.
Okay. Tell me what it looks like as you cast it.
So Orion, lifts up his arm and flaps it over, and the book opens, and then he starts whispering, kind of like in like parcel tongue, like in Harry Potter, but harpy tongue. This beam of animal friendship goes towards and sort of wafts around these two harpies.
So it sounds like it's combination Orion actually kind of getting into character, and then this augmented reality, like everyone being able to see it, like kind of go out there. And so suddenly the harpies kind of start to get agitated, start to like squawk, and then one of them like looks over the edge, looking down on you, and then he yells out, and then all three of them go diving down, like coming down towards you. And right where it looks
You're
like
not looking friendly.
they're looking like to slam into Orion. They like stop. They slam onto the ground around him, and they're like, and they don't attack. They kind of crawl over, and they look more like beasts than, like you said, like in an actual like women, feathers all over their bodies, and kind of chicken like legs and no arms, but just these large dark feathers. And they seem to be asking for, because you're able to communicate with them now with the animal handling, and they seem to be like, feed us food.
Knew we should have went and got some food.
I want to tell them to like go attack that knight, or go find some enemy to like hunt down. What enemies do we know of that I should send them after?
Oh, that
Enemy? Which enemy?
Maybe I'll just I'll tell them, go
You
due
said
east.
knight? Knight on a horse?
Yes, go see if he is juicy and delicious.
Horse tasty.
Horse
Knight,
tasty, good. Yes.
They
You'll
all
find
begin to
food
like
there.
lift off the ground. He's cute, and they go flying off down the road.
Tony just staring at.
Did you really just
Orion.
send harpies after a knight and a
I
horse?
just
Who is
docked
this
them.
guy?
I mean,
Orion is pretty
I
dark.
think he's gonna win.
Now we-
I think he's gonna win. I think the knight's gonna win. Listen, I thought this through. This knight he's gonna easily take them out. So don't worry about it. But like, let's go. Let's climb this thing.
What happens when he finds us again?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know that we told him that.
I'm telling him it was you as soon as I find him again.
Clara's holding the bottom of the rope and is like, is anybody climbing this or what?
Got the tech skill.
I mean,
There's a rope.
Anna-
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
and now there's no
Annika
one up
is
there, so you guys
trying,
can all.
but
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, Annika. So then give me a move check. You only need one success.
well, I only have 2 dice in.
Oh my god! You
Well,
can.
then
Oh,
you
so no.
got
Here's the
two
thing. Okay,
chances.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I actually got 1 success for
No,
once.
Another thing I'll add to this is because usually, and this is part of the rules, when you're using an item, the item usually grants a bonus. So the rope would be a +2. So you'd have 4. but you got a success,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So you're climbing us. You see Annika like getting her footing, kind of hook, like really, and then but surely enough, she gets up there, and then at the top you get this kind of beautiful view of like all the rest of the land, and like a hawk flies by, as there are still real insects and such living in the park. It's just got a very interesting view of like what they've built here. And down below, and then you see this little box, little communication like under like the shrubs, and there's like a little door on it, like to a little computing pad, and kind of looks like a little dish hanging off the side of the otherwise ruined tower. And so while Duke go down there, anybody else who's climbing up, go ahead and make your roll, unless you're just leaving it to Annika. No, okay. So,
Okay, yeah, I'll look into this the box and see.
okay.
Like, can I figure out where what does it communicate to? Like,
yeah, it looks like you could use. You notice that one of the wires is like loose, so it looks like it could use some tinkering. It seems like there's some power, but it looks like you might need to reconnect it to get it up and running. And if you could, you do see a little jack where you could plug your Game Boy into, and maybe hack it that way. But right now you need to get some power going. So it's 2 checks. The first one you need the tinker, and you need the tinker to be successful. Or if the tinker's not successful, you do risk damaging it where the program or the calculate will not work.
Well, yeah, I will try to tinker with it
Okay.
with my Game Boy.
Yep.
So that's okay. So tinker. So since I'm using my iconic item, that's
Get
plus 2.
2. Yep.
I got 2 successes.
Okay, nice. So what I'm gonna say is you're so successful that I'm gonna take both of those successes, so you don't need to make the second roll because you're using the Game Boy. And I'm gonna treat this tinker as a similar to where you can ask questions. Investigate. Let's see what those bonus are.
Yeah, investigates.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
The first thing that happens, what you realize is these are kind of park comms antennas, and you start to hear like, radio Squadron 1, Squadron 2, we're over here. And you like kind of these like check-in reports, and then the one that seems interesting is the one that says Unit 3. Have you been Sunshine says that we need to take a closer look at the old MK Horizon robots. They've been acting super faulty. A lot of them gathering around the southern edge of the park. We think they've found something there. So can we put a beacon on them and follow them? Over. And then another message comes through. Judith just gave us a report, and let's make sure those the kids stay within bounds. If they seem to get too close to finding a way out, we have permission to engage. Over. And so she's like kind of getting all these messages. What I'll allow her to do is use this like an investigate, even though it's a tinker, and you can ask these questions. You can get 2 successes, so you can ask 2 questions. What is hitting here? Where is it? Something similar to that. You can take a little bit of leeway with these, like, what does this mean? What has happened here? How can I get into something? How can I get past something? What threats can I perceive? You can ask if you want to ask 2 more questions, I will try to answer them as honestly as I
Like
can.
how you conveniently skip that middle one now.
Which one? What has happened?
How do I get out of here?
Oh, how do I get? Oh no, how do I get out of here is one of them too. So yes, I think my subconsciously.
He was like, "Nah, I ain't give you the bed. That's too easy."
Nope, it's easy. When I literally because I read it like, how do I get past something? I just left out. How can I get out of here? That is one as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Annika would like to ask, like, how to get out of here. Like, so
Yeah.
she can talk on the radio, because
No,
then
so-
she.
What this means is, like, whenever you're asking these questions, these are above table. Like, you're literally asking the game master what you're basically asking me questions, and I'm answering them. But what we're translating that is that's how you're perceiving the information that you're getting.
Right.
So you're really not talking to anybody in character, but you're perceiving. So, like, I might answer a question, and that's what you were able to decipher from the communications with these, these guys.
Okay. Well, yeah. Like the main things that Annika would want to ask is like how to get out of here.
Okay.
If there's any weakness, like anything.
Yes. So there does appear to be a weakness. The fact that these soldiers or security are bringing light to the robots traveling south. That if you look, as Annika looks at the map, that speaks really close to what Conan was talking about, like this whole Promised Land area. So it seems like the Promised Land area is definitely not part of the storyline, even though Conan believes it is. It seems to be an anomaly or something that they're trying to maybe kind of nip in the bud. And so she's able to recognize that. I think it's something that I'll take it a step further, because Anna was on the horizon. Those robots were like part of some, they were trying to, like, gain this sentience, and there was crash. And you remember, a lot of these robots are burned. So it appears that Sunshine Farm has like went and collected those robots and brought them here. So these robots don't want to be here. They weren't ever made to be here. So in a weird way, the robots, many of those robots, are just as much as prisoners as much as you all are. And then what was your second question? Let me see. Well, it was, how do I get out of here? And then what was the other one? Was the second part of it?
And there wasn't a second question,
Okay.
but I guess like it. I guess the second question would be like, is there like a loophole in the game, like a flaw in the software? I guess. Like anything we can exploit.
No, as much as I don't think there is right now. If you play the game, you kind of have to play it through. What I will say, I think there could be a part of that question that I could answer, but it depends on if I think that you need to explore them a little bit more to understand, like, the park a little bit more, to understand how the loopholes might work. But since I'm not, so I'm answering that to the best of my ability, so I guess that is my answer. But I will say that first part of it lets you know that if they're concerned with where Conan was concerned with, that means that's actually a viable option. It's not the only way out, but now he's not crazy. There is a way out that is that in that direction. So in addition to maybe finding the pieces, or finding another one. And I think that they have confirmed that there are other ways out, because they were like, if they get close to any of the doors, it gauge them. So you do know that there are, but you just don't know where.
Okay. So when I'm looking at this communications device, do I think it's possible to use it to communicate with the outside in any way?
I'm willing to allow you to try. I think that will be difficult, and I will say you will need 2 successes or more. with a -1 to your program check.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Okay, program -1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got 1 success.
Okay. So you could push and take another to try to get that other one. If you get that other one, then you will communicate. You will contact someone outside, and you can basically, what I'll allow you to do is, because in the game you have a contact, you can use the rule for contact to tell me who you're contacting and what you're telling them to get aid. But you would have to take an upset, or you'd have to take some kind of injured, and you'd have to explain how that happens. Like if it's an injured, maybe while she does it, she gets shocked, or she slips and she cuts her leg or something. But she would have to take something to continue this.
Yeah, I think she chooses not to, since she got this other information about the.
Okay. I will say, if she does, it would be a big moment, because you would now have unplanned someone that knows knows where she's at from the outside. But yeah, I like it. You can play it. Not pushing either way. So if she plays it safe and she stops there, it doesn't continue on.
Yeah. Yeah, she will just climb back down.
Okay, so she makes her way down, and with no issue, she makes her way down. She's back with, and I imagine, I don't know, you can describe what you're, sharing with them, what you all think from this, where you go from here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell them everything that I know.
Orion, why you decide to kill Knight? You guys told me I couldn't bash him.
I don't think the Knight will die, honestly. I think that the Knight will fight the Harpies and win. He's strong Knight. No need to worry. It was just to get the Harpies away. But also, if the Knight is not our friend, it's okay to send Harpies after him. We don't know whose side he's on.
He was kind of mean.
He was creepy to me. Who dresses like that?
Is Annika sharing what about the Promised Land, all that stuff, the information she heard in front of in front of Conan, or? Oh, okay, she stepped away. So so everybody just kind of role play while we, what y'all thinking?
I really don't want to follow this weird robot, but.
I mean, south is the way to go.
She does share everything, I guess in front of the robot.
I told you it was not crazy.
Everyone? They said they're sending everyone that way?
There will be, that's what it sounds like, eyes on the location. I can take him. Shink, and he pulls his blade, strikes a pose.
Either it's a very good idea to go there, or it's a very bad idea. And that's where all the guards are going to be located or centralized. But we don't have much to go on.
I mean, I guess
The
worst case
people that
scenario.
are locking us in seem to be at odds with these robots. So maybe they'll be on our side.
We could go there where I can show you. Maybe we can find a way past them. Conan can show you so that you can trust and actually see the portal. Or we can go to find Rittermound and find the key.
Hey Conan, can you go scout the quickest path over to the Promised Land real quick? Just show us the way. You go.
Okay.
Do that.
He starts marching away from you. And Sarah's like, what are you doing? Are you trying to put him in harm's way?
No, it's just worst case scenario. I guess we can go, but worst case scenario, we abandon them and run.
Okay.
Yes? Everyone? We do not
So you
fight
think we
for
should
the
follow him?
robots. Yes, but we don't fight for them. We fight for us. We run if we need to.
Agreed.
Everybody. All right,
Here's what's
Conan!
so what happens is Conan will be making you all will get Conan will make a sneak check for himself. And then you all will make a sneak check for yourselves.
Okay.
But then if he fails, then he'll probably be you know, these are things you would know he would be in harm's way, and they would have to decide whether to leave him or not.
Yeah, Tony cast. He looking through his thing.
What does he want to cast?
He gonna pick up some dust from the floor and blow that out into the air. Can we cast a pass without trace? Trying to get some stealth check. Trying to get some stealth bonus.
You would make. I imagine that you would make your checks with your heart.
I make it with my heart. Yeah, you know.
You're a druid.
Yeah, you know, druids love their hearts. I have a lot of heart actually. Let's roll with heart. I was about to say no to heart. I like heart. 5. One. I got 1.
Okay, 1 6. So he's just like, suddenly you cast this, and he's like, aha, I feel nimble and hard to see. And so then you notice like these little, like cameras that are on him kind of like break these, like reflect the light. So he almost he starts to kind of disappear like Predator. He kind of like has this like, he's not invisible, but he kind of blends in with the side of the road as he marches, and he seems very hard to see. So that is a success. Takes you guys maybe 30 minutes to get down to this area, and as you kind of come around this bend, you can see some craggy rocks and the kind of sloping upwards, the path sloping upward, and then there's like what you notice is there's a tunnel in the rock, and what you realize is that kind of tunneling down into the rock, and what you realize is this part of the mountain, as you get closer, you look at the rock around you, it's not really rock. It's also not, it's like a very hard kind of constructed foam. And so what you realize is that something or someone or many someones have been burrowing into and tearing away the structure, revealing like a space. But up ahead you can only see so far, and what you do spot is 2 guys, just 2, in like kind of gray and black, kind of general military gear with no patches and no like insignias, with kind of, you know, assault style weapons and earpieces, kind of marching back and forth in front of the cave, kind of looking around. And one guy kind of stops and starts smoking a cigarette. Guys like kind of talking with the guys. One of them seems more lax than the other one. The other one's like no, like, you know, we got to be on the lookout. You can tell they're having some kind of weird conversation. You can't really hear them because they're not talking really loud from where you all are. And at this point, they haven't heard Conan. So he's kind of like been moving really slow, and like his like gears got quieter since you cast from your spell. They're maybe 150 feet away from you on that upslope towards where the cave is. That they're standing in front. They're standing in front of the portal, cave to the portal. Robots, we dug it. Do we take care of them? I think we can take them, or do we sneak past them? Or maybe you all sneak past them. I can sneak past them too, because I'm nimble. Now,
Conan, I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know if you can sneak past them. And also, those are assault weapons. They are very bad for our bodies. They will hurt us. I don't know about you. You might be able to get shot.
if you get hurt, you just take long rest. You'll be ready to go in 8 hours.
That's not how we work, Conan.
Okay.
Tony just dipping his hands in some mud and just wiping. We ready? He all the way back. I remember the dangers. Are we doing this?
Suddenly, there's like something rolls off of a rock, like you hear like a rock crumble, and they look over, like the two guys look over, and then off across from them, about 100 feet away, this big giant comes burling over the hill and stands on the hill and starts chucking like rocks at those guys. They're like, "What the fuck?" They like move out of the way. They start taking shots back, and they kind of go into engage to like duck behind the rocks, and so they leave their post just enough to leave it open, and they're completely distracted by the giant that is throwing rocks at them. But it's still all within the same kind of earshot. Still a dangerous situation, and the giant is still throwing rocks that if you were to try to sneak in, could potentially land in your area as well. What do you all do with this?
Conan, is this a way out?
Can we sneak by? With them
Ninja
being
roll.
distracted?
Sneaking
I think
you
we
could
should
still
do
try
it.
to go for a sneak.
Yep.
It seems like you got two options. You got to engage them, or you go for the sneak, where you sneak while they're like busy being preoccupied and fighting.
That's my vote. If we
Yeah,
can-
This is gonna
sneaking.
act like
I'm going for a sneak.
this is a mini major threat, or mine, like where basically everybody's gonna decide what they're doing, if it's all the same action, and you're just gonna need to make a success, and I need a certain number of successes for this to kind of move forward. So I'm
Can I
looking
use
at the
lead?
number of players. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 of you. You need 8 successes between all of you for this to.
Can I use my
You
lead
need
skill?
7 successes. So that means one person could actually fail 2. 7 successes for this to work. What were you gonna say, Orion?
Can I use my lead skill?
You can. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me how that. Yeah. I think your
just
lead
wanna,
will give everybody bonuses, right? Well,
I
Yeah.
would just
It
give a
gives us
little
pools, yeah.
it gives
quick
you dice
inspiring
rolls.
speech like, look, we don't know what's in there, but I think this is our best shot. And now's the time. We have one chance. They're distracted now. Let's do this.
He has to make a lead check, right?
He has to make a check.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
And
give me
then
a
every
check?
success
Not
gives
just a
us 2.
speech.
Every success gives him 2. That's good.
All right. 7 dice. I got 2 successes.
4.
All right.
4 die pool to hand out.
So this
So do I
amazing
just hold on
speech
to
coming
those?
from Orion. Orion is like starting to feel himself as this grand mage, power crackling on your wrist. Everyone's like, yeah. How many did you get? How many successes?
I got 2.
2. So
yeah, it's a
there's
4 die
4.
pool.
There's a 4 dice pool that you all. So now you have extra 4 dice out of these checks that we can kind of
To use whenever we fail or just whenever we want to, like as a bonus.
Yep. If you were to
Gotcha.
push and you want to draw from that pool, you're welcome to. So, what's everyone doing? How do you?
Yeah, Tony's not gonna sneak. This is loud. They got assault rifles. There's boulders flying. He's just gonna time a boulder and then sprint. He gone.
Sprint.
We
So
in
he's
there.
going for a move check.
Yep, I'm going for a move check
All right.
because that's the only that's the only way I can do this well.
So, do these guys have anything on them that we can see that maybe we need to swipe?
They've got walkie-talkies. I mean, they've got these earpieces. So they've clearly got radios. They look like they got like belts, like little utility belts that probably have like handcuffs. But there's probably a lot of like sort of, gear on them that's useful, provided you would take them out. In addition to the guns, they've got a pistol on one hip. They're wearing like these kind of combat laced boots, so maybe, a lot more sturdy than the boots you all have.
Well, I'm a thief.
that's it.
I'm wondering if I could pick a pocket or something. if
While
we
they're in a
wanna-
fight, you can try.
I don't know. I don't know if that's worth.
I won't
trying.
even make it a disadvantage. I just say it's just you still got to make the number of successes we're looking for. So
Otherwise, I'm just gonna sneak by him.
that would be
go in the pool.
because they would both be sneaks. So one's just more of a crazy narrative one. What is it that you think you're trying to get off of them?
Well, that's what I'm trying to see. Like, is there anything that we would want off of them?
I mean,
I'll
the
say
guns
that
would
one of
be
the
helpful.
pieces is like it's like I would think you tell me if I'm wrong, but I would think the thing that you would want would probably be a radio, so that you can like use that to like hear the other communications consistently. Is the only thing but I could be wrong.
What do you guys think?
Here's what I'll say: it doesn't change your actions, but failing your sneak, you might. That's gonna happen anyway because if you push, you're gonna take an exhaustion. Whenever you do anything that engages with the guys, the failure could cost you in a condition. Is basically because you're putting yourself in harm's way.
I don't know. Do you guys want one of the radios or something, or should I just sneak by?
If you could get it.
Tony's
Yeah,
taking
you
off in
should.
slow motion.
Tony on the other side. You out here talking to the wind. Blood is
I'm
out.
talking-
This is
I'm
all
talking
happening
to-
like in a few
I'm mainly
seconds.
talking to Annika because Orion is kind of scary with his throwing people to the wind, and Tony just ran. So
Tony ain't trying to get shot. I'm trying to let y'all know, I'm from the boroughs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen this before. This ain't it. This ain't it, guys. Just move. Tony gone.
Sarah pulls a arrow and she notches it. She like pulls it back, but she keeps it like taut while she's like kind of running forward, but she's waiting, kind of ready to move. But she's got it trained in case any of those guys turn around. But she's ready to move with Annika.
I mean, like a radio would probably be useful, but on the other hand, we need to get past this. Like,
Yeah.
In,
I mean, basically, she's
Undetected.
gonna try to go by, but if there's one within sort of like on the way that she can try to do a swipe of a radio on the way, then she'll do that. Otherwise, she's
Okay.
just gonna go.
Mhm.
You're gonna give me a move action then. You're gonna give me a sneak action.
Sneak.
So sneak move for Tony. So I need to just know what Annika's doing and what Orion's doing. And Jose and Garth are kind of just they're just running with Tony at this point.
Because that's
And
three.
along with
So
Bruce.
Three
Bruce,
got
yes.
me. Oh no. Well, I mean, Bruce will have to run by himself. I only got 3 runs.
Okay.
So Annika, she is looking at her bracelet and she wants to cast like a silence spell
Ooh,
on
okay.
herself,
Yes.
and then try to sneak.
She is and she chose to be
A ranger.
Ranger. Okay. Would she have silence? No.
A Gloomstalker would.
Yes.
Gloomstalker,
that's it.
yes.
Not
she would.
not
Okay.
naturally, but a Gloomstalker would.
Then that's fine. So if she can do that, yeah. I'm trying to think what everybody's has been. So heart, mind. I'll allow you to choose. Do you think you cast with heart or mind?
I cast with body.
Mind probably.
Okay. And since she has she's already used the Game Boy. Like, I'll give her a +1 for the Game Boy since she's like, it's just all essentially tech, and that's her thing. So she's
Yeah.
casting with her mind. I'll give you a +1.
She just turns the volume down on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she failed.
She failed. Okay.
Yeah.
Tony got a success. How about Claire?
Sure.
So as she casts the silence, what I imagine happens is the giant is like, and like throwing these rocks, and suddenly the giant is like, just stops making noise, but the guns just keep working because like it's not real magic,
Yeah.
so the guns just keep like firing, blowing away. But the giant seems, and like the guys seem like confused that the giant's not making any more noise. Claire's moving in to get to the closest guy to grab his thing. Tony's running by. Claire, what'd you get?
2 successes.
2. Okay, so you're able to snatch the radio off of him just as a rock lands beside him and shatters, and a piece like of it hits him in the jaw. It's like he should have felt it rip away, but like as you pulled it off, he was getting hit by the rock like slow motion, so he didn't feel it like coming off of him. And then you like dive into the cave. Orion.
I was
How
gonna
many
do hold
successes are-
person.
You got
as a
2.
spell.
Sorry, Clara got 2. Annika got none so far. Tony got 1. Oh, Annika, you don't
Tony
forget,
got
we gotta,
3.
Tony got 3. Okay, 3. So we're at 6. Okay, so but Annika, you could have also used some of the dice pool to add to that roll. But we'll see what Orion gets since we're there.
I'm just gonna sneak by, and I got 1 6.
Okay. And so, since that is a success, all of you, even with Annika kind of missing, it's like, Sarah's like, come, and she like pushes forward, and one of the guys like, steps back, and as he steps back, he kind of bumps into Annika, and he turns like, and he sees you all, and he like raises the muzzle, and right as the gun goes up, he just gets like, his head just comes clean off his shoulders, as like he doesn't see the light reflecting off of Conan, as he just hits him with this blade, wham, and that guy's body goes tumbling over, and he's gone as you all are running into the cave. As you get outside of the earshot of the giant not seeing any more attackers is kind of like just moving around outside, like silently, not making any noise, but doesn't seem to be moving.
That's not horrifying. We just have a silent giant out there.
It's kind of walking around, big old arms, hands like 8 foot tall, pale giant with long like white beard, straggly beard, big nose, warts. Kind of like a hill giant, long straggly hair, little white spot in the middle, a couple missing teeth. And what you guys are starting to realize is, clearly, if these are all robots, the ones you saw were a bit haggard in the first, but like they definitely have spared no expense on the immersion or the realism of the things that you're like the monsters. The monsters are full blown, super realistic. But inside there, inside the cave, Conan like walks over and goes, see, I told you, the portal. And so actually it's not just a cave, but it's kind of like a tunnel, kind of coming down an angle. So as you guys run inside, you kind of like slide down like 30 feet, and then you get up, and that's why even if the giant was to walk up, it would have to like come down in there with you all. But big open space, maybe a 30-foot wide circle tunnel that's just they've been working on for a long time. It goes down in another 40 feet, and Conan like light his eyes kind of like turn on like spotlights on the wall in front of him, and what you see is there's a large, almost like pipe like structure in the wall. So they found something here, and they're almost like a submarine style door, but it doesn't have like a handle to open. Instead, it has a big unit with a key card insertion slot, and big as letters as day, you guys can see DARPA on it, and then some code like kind of painted, kind of been underground for a long time and faded, but it says it's clearly a pipeline to the loop. These are one of those underground running that you have all heard about. And then Conan goes, see, portal leads under the ocean. And you realize when he says under the ocean, he's meaning basically the lake that leads back south, that leads to the loop, into those 3 always ominous towers that are inland. But don't have key. See? Rectangle. Key. And he kind of makes we need to find key.
How thick does the door look, or the glass, or whatever?
Very. Like, you all have no tools that would cut through this. Not even like it's probably at least a couple feet, if not more, thick from the way it looks. and how
I
large.
kinda-
You can't even see the entire like wall because it's just they just barreled into the side of it. The rest of it is like, what's on the other side is just, it's a huge. It looks like it would be massive if you could see it all.
Yeah, I kind
The
of.
door is small enough for a human, but
Yeah, I kind
Sorry,
of want
go
to just
ahead,
take a condition for this anyway, but seeing this, Tony's gonna sigh and he's gonna try to crawl back outside. There's a human who got fully decapitated outside, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna do my best to search his pockets without looking at or without crawling through the giant just pool of blood. That's just this ain't okay.
You
Well,
gonna
I'm
try
gonna
to
try.
do
I'm
some-
gonna just crawl. I'm just gonna crawl out there and try to see if I can find some sort of card.
All right.
Wallet.
And
Is the other
Tony-
guard
Thing.
there?
The other guard's there too.
The other guy's still alive there?
No, he's not. He doesn't look well. His face is kind of swollen from the rock that hit him.
Oh, okay. He messed up.
Yeah.
Should we kill him first? Should we ask him questions? Should we take his gun?
He looks like he could be alive. I mean, you could try to. He probably has a huge concussion, but I don't know. They could try to wake him up and get information. if
Okay,
that's
maybe. I'm gonna sneak over. I'm gonna try to take his gun away from him before he. I'm assuming he's not just holding on to
Yep.
it right
I
now.
won't
I'm
even
just
make
trying
you make a check. You are successful.
to- Okay.
As you like remove his belt, he's like, "Oh, what is going on?" Kind of like mumbling to himself.
Does it look like there's any sort of card key on this belt at all?
No, there's not.
Is the
Actually,
giant still
what I'll
back
say there
there?
is,
Yeah.
there's an ID
Uh-huh.
and there's a card, and the card, his ID says Sunshine Farms Security, and the card is just one of those like real blank, those blank cards, that you use to like get in.
Yeah, the little fob.
corporate work.
Yeah.
Little fob,
Yep.
key fob. Yep,
Yep. Okay. And the other guy probably has the same thing on his belt.
same thing.
All right, I'm gonna take that anyway, because he's not gonna fight me. He did. And I'm just gonna give it to the girls because they're way smarter than I am. I don't know if this will help.
Let me see.
Is this the
Ryan's
right
gonna
shape?
Pick up one of the guns.
You go outside and take the gun? Okay.
Sarah's
Take-
like,
take the other gun.
So y'all have guns. The guns will be a +2 to your
Man,
to your
I
move.
used to be scared of my boy. Why'd I forget his name? But now it's my boy Orion out here. That's something that I'm worried about.
Orion's got like a augmented reality spellbook and a Glock, like I'm ready. I miss those.
Clara
Okay.
turns to Annika and hands her the radio and says, and points at the door and says, "So, you able to hack that thing?"
I can try. Yeah, I will try. So yeah, she starts looking at it, like fiddling with the knobs and trying to somehow establish a connection to the outside to get help.
She looks and there's no like ports or jacks for her to plug in her Game Boy here. And it's just a box with the swipe. But what she does notice is that there's a little plate that could be pried. Maybe this is an honest thing, but that's going to take, and that this will not be the same. It will take a force to pull that off. She imagines that if she can get that off, there might be something behind there to kind of like tinker with or program, if anything.
Well, can someone help me get this plate off? I'm not very
Sarah's
strong.
like, I'm sorry, Conan. She looks up at him. She's like, you're right. This is clearly a portal out of here. Should have listened.
Conan, can I borrow that sword of yours?
Now, Conan would have the strength to do it, but you realize the way the box is, his hands are too big. It's not like you need somebody that can only get in there and then like pull the plate back. So it's not, Conan can't do it, even though he would be strong enough. He'd to rip the whole box off. He would mangle it.
Yeah, Annika is unfortunately very weak somehow.
So Tony asked for a sword, so Clara hands him my short sword.
Yeah, I was going to try to leverage it, but my boy, the voice in the sky said it's too thin, so I gotta use my delicate fingers to get up and hear that piano twinkle twinkle to get up and hear no sword. But yeah, we gonna try to fingertip it. We can pretend like I'm rock climbing. That's a sport I can do.
If you wedge it open a little bit, maybe the sword can help.
Yeah, let's do that.
And when the sword's in, maybe Orion can, or Conan can help. Just grab the end of the sword.
Fair enough.
I got
Okay.
so scared. I was like, Ryan, no Glock. No.
Maybe Orion can help.
You said it's a force?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're doing it, Tony?
Tony's doing it, yeah.
Okay.
Godly. Yeah, that's 4.
Oh, 4. So no 6.
No, I got 4 6s.
Oh, 4.
Oh.
Jeez, 4 6s.
Oh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you
Remember,
you
he's a
just-
jock, right?
Yeah, you
No,
just
but-
Tony just rips that thing off. That doesn't necessarily help with what's behind there, but what you do find is there are a bunch of wires, and there's a keypad. There's still no. This was built a while ago, and so even no matter how, technologically savvy Annika is, there's no point for her Game Boy here. So it looks like there could be some tinkering, maybe some calculating with the buttons, but still, and then there's no card in there. There's no computer screen either, so maybe there's a code that you don't have. So I'll leave it to you all to kind of think of what you might do.
And a
here.
lightsaber? We're gonna cut this off, man. What's going on right now?
No, so it's like a little box. You peeled off the panel, and the panel is connected to like a swiper, right? So inside that panel are all the wires that connect there that read whenever the card is swiped, and then there's like a keypad there, I guess, to bypass maybe if you didn't have a swiper. Maybe it looks like you would pull this panel off and put in a code. That said, you don't have a code. And so you all would literally just be going off of trying to get a really high successful roll based on what you try to do.
Hey, my job is done.
We still have the dice pool, right?
Yes.
We never use them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can technically try the IDs. I don't think they'll work. I just took them just in case they'll help later. I don't know.
Annika, do you want to try to tinker it? Or-
Yeah. Yes. So Annika will, she'll try to tinker with this thing and try to understand how it works and get a connection to the outside world.
Can Clara help at all?
Yeah, so Annika, what are you going to try to do again? You're going to try to tinker?
Tinker.
Mm-hmm. Clara's going to try to help.
I don't know if that's
give
feasible in
you-
this situation.
I'll give Clara, how are you going to try to help? You got to describe for me what you think you're doing to help. Because here's the thing, because this is a game of like you guys are MacGyver in this. So in this MacGyver, I don't want just dice rolls. I need you to tell me exactly what you're trying to do. Is this more so about messing with the wires to see if we're going to short circuit this thing? Is it trying to figure out a code? Like, you guys tell me what you're doing. Tell me how you're helping, and then we'll decide on what roles need. And we're coming up. This is probably the kind of like the last major role of tonight's game.
So Annika, what do you think? Crack the code or mess with the wires?
I mean, I think probably mess with the wires because we don't know the code, so we want to bypass that. But it seems like it would be fairly simple for Annika to just bypass it with skills that she has.
Yeah, and I think Clara, the way she would help is she remembers all of the things that Garth would do in the garage when he was putting together Dadbot and all of the other things, and so she's trying to pass along secondhand knowledge of like, oh yeah, when Garth was doing this, he did this and that, and so I mean, she can take the advice or not. I don't know if it's helpful, but she's trying to be supportive in that way.
Okay. So, give me a lead check, Clara. This doesn't count towards the roll that's about to be made. This is
Okay.
to see if I give you more bonus dice to help Annika's roll.
I'm not that leadery, so we'll see. I did get 1 6 out of the 3, so
Okay, so Annika, I was gonna give you, 1 for the help. You get 3 dice, 3 extras.
Okay.
And you're trying to do a tinker, or you said, or cap.
Yes, a
Okay,
tinker.
I'll let you. Okay.
So-
Orion giving all of the lead dice at this point?
Yeah, so we just. Okay,
We'll
it's
save 'em for
4. So
rainy
you can
day.
add 4. That'd be 4, 5, 6, 7. This I'm gonna pay. Basically,
What?
this is one of those. This is one of those, like, if it was a video game, you're not supposed to be able to open this right now, without. So I'm gonna say you need. I've never done more than 3. You need 4 successes.
oof.
It's not hard. I just did it.
Yeah, you did
Got
just do
this.
it.
Okay, wait. So how many extra dice do you have?
And you can push. So, yeah.
You have 7
So
extra
you have
dice.
you have
right now.
7 extra dice. It should be, yeah. It's kind of ridiculous, but I don't want to make it.
Go find all
In
the
this game, I try to
D6s in
lean
your
into
house.
the ridiculousness of like what they're able to try to do. So yeah.
Yeah, because high school students should be able to
Yeah,
crack into a dark
yeah.
facility.
Tony is very helpfully holding the flashlight in the
You know,
back. and trying
everything
to
in Stranger Things is just absolutely ridiculous by the time they get to season, 3 and 4. It's like
But it
these
should
kids
be sort of run down and stuff, so maybe
Yeah, maybe it short
hasn't been
circuits in it.
operational in theory for a while.
True.
They said there was more robots coming over here. Did we go to the wrong one? Where the robots at?
No. They were saying that the robots created this. They had been coming down there. That's what Conan was telling you a long time ago, is that the robots did it. They've been waiting the robots want to come when it's open because they want to go to the promised land, but they know they don't have the key. And, Conan was telling you all, I'll show you where the portal is, but I know the legend of where to get the key. And everybody's like, man, fuck that legend. We're not doing that. So like,
Yeah, I was willing to go after the key.
It's like-
Nah, man, we wasn't gonna go off and look for no square, my guy. You gotta get at least a squiggle, a magnet strip, or something.
Y'all trying to
man.
get out of
Come
my
on,
world I built for y'all day one. Like, y'all trying to get out of here. So this is fine. This roll
Right.
can get us out of here. Then we'll be next session. We'll
Yeah,
be
then we'll be in the
leaving.
loop.
We'll be leaving
Well,
TSR.
It's a different dungeon.
I got 3 successes, so
Okay.
man.
I
So
I
you
guess
need
I
one more,
will
which means you gotta.
I will
yeah.
push it.
Okay. All dice that did not
Let's see.
pass.
I
that's not
did
enough.
get
Uh-oh.
I got two successes, so 5 successes in total.
Okay.
And I guess I also get a condition.
Okay.
I'm upset.
Nice. And so, Annika, you're like, do you want to add a little flavor? Like, tell me like what it, what you think it feels like and looks like. You're getting upset, and like what it looks like as you successfully. I'll describe kind of what happens from the success point, but leading up to that point, like, is it just like she's kind of fiddling with those wires and trying to get them to like give some kind of reaction?
Yeah, pretty much like trying to connect different things and
Yeah.
like fiddling with the different wires and like trying to get a response. Like I'm kind of desperate at this point. I want to
Yeah.
to like get some sort of signal from the outside of the park.
Is there a memory of when she first started like tinkering and using what made the Game Boy special? Was there like, if she's not willing to share that now, I can, clearly save it, but I imagine there might be a flashback to like when she started using this thing, or when she like what made her like so fascinated with this kind of like thing. If not, then you don't have to go there.
Yeah, no, like I think like she has an older brother and he got the Game Boy at some point, and like Annika just like used it all of the time and really got into it, and like from that point on she just wanted to like tinker with it all the time, and she basically had to like convince her brother to like let her use it and to use his computer to do stuff.
So we're
That
kind of
was a
seeing
few
flashes of all
years
that.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kind of seeing flashes of all that, and then we're also seeing kind of Claire kind of like helping you, and then like kind of flashbacks to like Claire and Garth working on similar things, or Garth showing Claire how to do certain things. And sure enough, there's this spark, poof, and as it goes off, there's this like sound of like a cranking, like a groan, as this heavy door kind of like starts to slide sideways, and it opens enough to where it doesn't open all the way, but it like it exhales like a great bit of like air, and it's just enough to where you can all fit through. Everybody except for Conan, whose body is too big. It's a success. And they can all step through. It's dark beyond the doorway. And he goes, no, I must go there. And he starts to grab and tug on the door himself. No, it must open for us.
Get your friends. Go get your friends. They'll help.
You're right. I'll get my friends. We'll all come back. We'll be able to. We made this tunnel. We'll open the portal.
Huh?
You all were the key. You all were the key. And he kind of...
Annika was the square.
Annika was the square. And he just kind of looks at you all, and he kind of shakes his hand, and then Sarah's like, "Yes, go get your friends, go get them, bring them back." And he runs.
Look, Sarah,
off.
I'm gonna say to Sarah, look, Sarah, I know you want to go. I think you should go. I don't want to leave Conan here. But if you want to go, you should go down that hallway.
Clara follows Sarah. She's not staying.
No,
Okay.
we are all leaving. We leaving. Humans, that way.
Has anyone stepped in yet?
Yes.
Sarah stepped in.
Claire stepped in.
Has
Yeah.
Sarah stepped in?
Sarah is like walking towards if no one else is going. Like she's like intrigued.
I'm following Sarah.
She walks through and she looks out and she goes, "Oh." She sees it's this huge open space. Imagine being like in a sewer pipe that's big enough for like a semi truck to drive through. It's that big, right? And it's kind of damp and open and cold. And to Sarah's left, based on where you all are at and her kind of, she's good at understanding where she is. She looks and she goes to the left. She goes, "This leads back towards the island." And then she looks, this is south. That leads. She's like, "Yeah, we're under the lake." She looks at you, Clara. And then she sees the markings on the wall that say the loop heading the direction of the lake. The loop is the way out. Willing to go. And she wants to go that way. But you also all realize as you're kind of entering the space that you also came here and were paid, like, you're supposed to find Stephanie, the BC's friends. Those people are probably all still on the island. So there's something to be had is if this leads to the loop, you guys can all take it to the loop. Who knows what's also in the loop? And then the other direction leads back on the island, probably leads out of the Savage, realm into the Sunshine Farm, or maybe under the Sunshine Farm. What are y'all thinking? I imagine that's all information I'm sharing for Clara and Sarah, but I imagine it's being shared as other people stumble in and start to see the same thing. Orion's on the other side, like, I think I'm staying. Tony's looking at Orion like he's crazy.
Hell
I'm not gonna stay by myself, so whatever y'all want
My
to do.
boy- I ain't staying by myself.
He's gotta
Make your decision.
He,
Yeah,
he
originally
switched up
he was
quick.
taking
He
a
was like,
stand.
he did the pose. I saw the pose where Ryan was like, I'm a wizard. I'm staying. I'm like, oh. Everybody else walking, and he's like, well,
Wait a
I'm
minute.
not gonna stay by myself.
Wait for me.
I mean,
So are
if
we going
go-
back to the island, or are we getting out of here through the loop?
So going and saving the people is not an option, Claire?
Going back to the island would be going to save the people.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But from the
they're
outside?
No, because if this is under the island, there's a chance that there's an opening, maybe somewhere. This is because the
Yeah,
pipeline
if we
is
want
running
a chance
under
to save the people, we need to go
Yeah.
see where this other
the
tunnel
loop is
leads.
essentially a fast track to like, you guys are out of here. Now, you don't know. It's not an easy fast track because you might have to go through the loop to get out. I don't know what that is. You guys have never been in the loop, but
Hey, Chase
Yeah.
is there, right? It'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Sunshine Farm.
Well, Sarah said she's going the loop, right?
she wants to. She's like, what? She starts to realize, like, she's like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're going back? Why?
There's more humans in there, Sarah.
Trying to be mobile here, but Annika, I've been here too long. I'll leave it up to you. If you stay, I'll stay with you because you came and you got me. So I'll leave it up to you. I won't leave you.
I mean, I think we should get out of here and get help. That's the most, like, rational solution
That's
to this.
my friend.
So we're splitting the party, huh? D&D.
No!
This is a game that can be played with a split party, but yes.
No, Annika will not split the party. She will stay.
Since when do these kids ever go and get help? They
Right,
always
yeah.
just rush
There are
it. Like, that would be so
I was like,
not
there's no
encouraged.
adults out there helping us. Like, we could try, but none of them listen.
Adults don't do anything. We need to do everything ourselves.
So we gonna call record store Bob? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's only so many adults we know.
Or your grandma.
Grandma ain't coming. We got maybe Orion's drug dealer might show up.
I mean, Annika can be convinced, for sure.
I get it. They're your friends, and to be honest, I don't want to leave Conan either. So maybe it could be good to have the help of those robots when they come back. I'm staying. I'm in.
I won't leave my friends.
I won't leave my friends. Same. And they kind of stand there for a moment, and as they kind of stand there having that friend moment, are there any final remarks as we kind of see them kind of preparing to go back in now, and to the island?
I think for a moment you see Clara looking the other direction toward the loop, and she's remembering that her dad died in there, right? And so she's looking at Garth, and she sort of standing next to Garth and holds his hand looking toward the loop, and then turns away from the loop toward the other direction, toward the island. But you can see just sort of that knowing look of, like, she's tempted to go that way, but is going to go with her friends and turn the other way.
Yeah.
Because she's always had a curiosity about the loop, but hasn't had the opportunity, and this is the closest she's gotten to that.
Yeah. And Garth kind of looks at her like, at least we know where it's at. We can come back this way if we.
And I think they both look at Jose as well because it has meaning to him as well.
Yeah, he's been staring down the hall the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
And he just looks and nods, like okay. And they
For later.
They turn and they head back. And as you all go to turn back, suddenly you hear this like this large angry sound of an engine coming down the hall from the direction from down the hall, like in a subway. Lights begin to light up, and there's these little alcoves, and you all kind of like dive into them as suddenly boom, 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 like 3 big military style trucks with like tarp on them and a couple guys like hanging off the side of them go riding by, and they're like, woo, yeah, like we finally got it, access to the loop. And as you've got like big bright spotlights, those huge rigs on the front, light rigs on the front of the truck. They're driving through complete darkness, and they go boom, and they go driving by, and you immediately understand those all were clearly the security from Sunshine Farm. And so whatever's going on, Judith now has access to the loop as well. Crash to black and end there.
So did they come from the direction of the door we just opened?
No, from down the hall from the island. So they came
From the
around
island
corner
side to the loop side.
to the loop side. So they're going to the
Okay.
loop. They're taking these big trucks. There's something on the trucks and under the tarp that you can't see that they're taking to the loop. Okay.
That doesn't sound good either.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we will go pick up the second gun. I don't want to have to kill nobody, but this is looking a little wild. Y'all will pull that side out of Tony.
Tony's like,
Y'all gonna see Queensbridge, Tony. Let's go.
busting sideways. Cat. Oh man. Oh, that was fun. Yeah. You were not supposed to get out of the TSR tonight.
I know. I was. What happened to our quest?
My man said I'm gonna
We were
make more
going on a quest,
TSR.
and we never even started the quest.
You got outside.
You guys always break it. Yeah. That dice pool made it possible. Yeah, I didn't. Jeez. Oh man.
So are we supposed to assume, or maybe not assume, that the fact that she was able to hack into it allowed that other door to open?
We
Or
don't
just
know.
coincidentally they got through their door the same time?
Yeah,
we got through our door?
I don't even think it necessarily means that they might have already had access, and they're trying to make sure that the robots don't have access, but you guys have now gotten out. It's clearly a way out. So yeah, I would probably side on the idea like they probably already. I don't think it would be a huge coincidence if they just opened the door, but you just are realizing they have access to that tunnel as well. Yeah.
Maybe it's safer just to live in TSR now. Let's just live here. It's not that bad. They got trail mix. I heard they're spy.
Now he's looking at that trail mix and thinking that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah, I didn't say we was gonna find an army like this different.
We can still go back and get the robots.
Put it this way, you guys can always use this. It's an open world, so yeah, everything that's there is still there. There's still secrets there. If they need to double
Go back
they
through and
always
shut the
can.
door and just live happily ever after. And then
Go back to the tavern.
What's our
play some
human
game.
body count now?
That y'all killed.
We know that Garth killed that one lady.
Are you talking
that
about
was
blowing
making the
up
toy
the
maker.
chimney thing?
Yup. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Garth set that place on fire and blew up a lady's and
You guys
tied
don't
to
have
the
many because
chair.
Conan did that to this dude. That was him.
We
Do we,
haven't actually killed that many people.
Yeah, I don't.
Are we gonna find out what happened to the knight?
You would have
I'm
to
sure we
go.
will.
So Orion
You would have to go to
definitely has
the
a body
temple of the
count.
purple. He was heading to the temple of the purple clan. You know where it's at on your map. So
Yeah, we know where we're not going now.
Yeah. Oh, So yeah, I think we would have to. Yeah, you don't have to go after that to kind of see.
I mean, never mind. We got guns. What's he gonna do? Let's go, Ryan. This weirdo gonna do. We got this.
That's true. Oh man, that's good.
This game always changes when the kids get access to guns.
Oh man,
I don't know how to feel anymore.
Should have gave him no guns. But
Hey, first episode there was a gun.
they just took the
Yes.
pistol. You guys took the pistols, right? Not the.
Yeah, I mean, if you'll give us assault rifles, we'll take the assault
I mean, they
rifles.
could use them. I think there should be some kind of like there should be some difficulty to using those kind of weapons. As being none of them are trained in them.
Yeah,
Um,
nah.
I think
I'll
I,
think
I
this was
thought
right.
we were playing Alien, and I was just
Yeah,
like,
Because like what the rules say about Tails is that the kids they do get guns. They even get guns when they're like in the young, but they're not. They're supposed to get them very rarely, and they do usually provide +2 dice. But they're just not supposed to get them very often, and they should run out. So like imagine like you don't have multiple like magazines or anything like that. So after using them a few times, they should be done with. But I think there should be something I gotta think about how. I feel like there's more like I think like maybe guns are more like they're harder to use, but you get more successes. I don't know, but maybe that evens out. Maybe it's the same.
That's fine.
Yeah, when it comes to the math, it's probably the same. Yeah, they're.
I mean, I'm a gambler. I'll take a -2 to the roll for a +2 to successes.
So what we'll try to do is I'll put on the schedule if we want to. We can try to plan our next game to be at Geeky Teas with a bunch of cats.
Oh, we playing?
if
We
if
shooting
want
people in
to.
person? Let's roll.
I need to talk to Renee about because I've never used their. I'll ask Renee because he goes all the time, so I wonder what their like rooms cost and all that. Maybe we can.
Yeah,
try
they
that.
have he has a personal relationship with
Yeah.
Geeky Tees, right?
Yeah, I feel like he knows everybody at Geeky Tees, so I might have to just give Eric a free game since I'd be literally would be booting him out unless he dials in on his phone, which he ain't gonna be able to hear nothing. It's not.
I mean, if we
gonna
have
make
a
no
private
sense.
room, though, we might be able to do a
Maybe
video
yeah.
chat, but it's not the easiest thing in the world.
It's not. Yeah, I do it. It's already difficult enough when I do it from home with my home group, and I try to pipe in, try to have Eddie's brother on.
Sam?
Sometimes it works really well, and then sometimes it's Sam can't hear us very well, or we're just talking, we're making too much noise.
That's all right. Sam can't hear. He just get drunk in the corner. He's fine.
he just sips his whiskey, which I haven't played. I haven't played with my home group. I gotta look at my notes. I don't even know where our stories are at. Yeah.
But Nathan, you said you could paper bag it. You could paper bag it at Geeky Tees. You make that work? Oh, you
I
haven't
mean,
tried
I
yet.
don't-
You just feeling
I don't
frisky.
speak from personal experience.
Oh, okay. You just trying to set a brother up. I'm gonna be out here. They gonna be like, "What's that in your pocket?" I'm like, "Yo, my boy Nathan said it was good."
No, I do not condone.
Yeah, they
That
probably
kind
give
of.
you. I got a couple flasks. Maybe I'll just.
Bring my special simply lemonade. Y'all seen that? They take the liter lemonade and they put the individual packet of Kool-Aid in there. Apparently that's the perfect mix of sweet to sour, and then you just of course pour some out and put some tequila in or something.
That's crazy. That's a lot. That's a sugar to add Kool-Aid to.
No,
Simply
you
lemonade?
do the sugar. You do the sugar free.
Oh, the
You
sugar.
gotta
Yeah,
do
okay.
sugar free. Yeah, man. Unless you're trying to kill yourself, you're just trying to get that instant diabetes.
Man.
You do sugar free on both because that's got enough sweeteners.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love Tails because I'm always yep, we're not doing any of that. Because I was it was even coming the week before this as I was looking at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, they got a world to that I've been really planning. I was gotta fill out this TSR world. I'm like, we ain't even going here.
Ain't using none of that map.
But it should be, yeah, it should be. There's a lot of. I'm just as excited though because I'm excited to see what they do with Judith and the farm because that's a whole other world of itself. That's the other part of the island.
Right.
So where we'll be.
I'm not gonna lie to you,
next
man.
game.
I saw Conan cut a dude's head off and then just come into the dark, and then we just see the one red glowing eye. He's just to the promised
How
land.
don't we
It's
trust this
hell
guy?
no, we ain't
Yeah.
going to the promised land. Take
Yeah, did
yourself
we
to the
just
promised land.
unleash a bunch of robots onto the Earth?
Yeah,
And-
and it
and-
was
well,
we
see,
will cross the
what a lot of
ocean.
people
I'm like,
what
nah,
y'all-
y'all can't cross the ocean.
like, what I think is interesting that it could just because we played it so long ago, but I don't Claire's not bringing up. I don't, and and Anna's not bringing. But they also, a lot of the people that played that game were here, like Jose and Aaron. But those robots were stealing people's dreams. They were taking the dreams, and then they were stealing their dreams, and then the dreams were funneling through this machine, and it was giving the robots a sense of how to be human. So they were amalgamating all that information, but because the humans' dreams were getting stolen, they were being left with nothing but nightmares. So the humans weren't able to sleep, they were getting agitated, they were starting fights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So through this dream, so that's what these robots were doing that, and they were just like trying to do it for themselves, but they essentially were the villains of a different story.
Yeah, we gotta leave these dudes in jail. We can't take
These
these
aren't the
guys.
same robots, are they?
They are. Remember last episode I told you they all say MK Horizon on them, the name of the of the ship that crashed.
Oh, okay.
And many of them even Conan has like burned and singe marks on their metal because they come from that ship. Now those robots weren't inherently evil. They were just trying to, and so that I don't think that machine works anymore. So they can't make that work anymore. And so they
lost me at
all
become
he
one,
says is that they're just trying to go back to becoming one. They're going back to like
Nope.
having that one consciousness. And
Nope.
Conan says he has a dream that's telling him to go through the portal that direction to kind of to get to that. So yeah, we don't know.
Maybe we should ask the robots to be nice to their human friends from now
And
on.
dreams don't come true around here, my guy.
Yeah, and so all the robots you've met have been really nice, So yeah,
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah,
'cause I have an early
good.
meeting. I'll talk
Yeah.
to you later.
Later, Deborah.
Bye.
Good playing with you. Bye.
No. Yeah, try it out, man. That's wild. That's wild. Y'all, I mean, we already failed once, right? Like we failed the robot mission already. There's robots out in the world.
Yeah. Well, there's
I
always
ain't try.
from which one I'm trying to think because there's always been robots.
Did we fail the? We failed the one, not the clown one. We failed the one where we were like driving. Was it the clown one? It was the clown. It was the last piece of the clown one. It was. Didn't we fail with the robots that were trying to create love or whatever? Or we passed with conditions.
You pass with conditions, yes, and
So-
that's why some of them got out. Like yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like we already let robots out once. We can't just be letting all the robots out. They're gonna have robot civil war out here, and we ain't not gonna go good for us.
Yeah, so we don't know what, and maybe Sunshine Farms has been using these robots because maybe they're cheap, maybe they came upon them and like maybe they ran new tests on them, maybe they like maybe they reset them, so that's why they're not like the same. Maybe that's only why one of them is like and I have this vision. But yeah,
Guy has zero compunction about cutting the dude's head off, so maybe we leave him in the prison. He don't get to come out. Like we send him to the loop, maybe, but we don't bring him back like to the high school, maybe.
yeah.
It's just he needs to be trained.
Mm. We pick and choose who heads we cleave.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Like,
man,
like, are we the bad
Jason's
guys?
commentary is my favorite. Oh man,
Is that us? Did we do it?
I was looking at you all night because I haven't played with you in a while. Every time somebody says something, Jason's like, oh,
I be struggling,
just
bruh.
emote.
I be
like,
struggling, bruh.
Are we really gonna do that?
I'm like, we for real about to die right now, man. Like
Oh.
I love it though.
It was cool. I do like that it's an episode. It kind of felt like it wasn't even necessarily purposefully, but it kind of felt like an Anna episode, like for Annika to
Yeah.
like grow. And I think we've had that with every character over the course. It happens from time to time.
Yeah.
I don't think I was purposely like leaning on it, just other than just bringing her friend in. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Like there was a lot of growth there.
Yeah. Now we got a little love triangle. We don't know who gonna get Sarah. It looks like